like,
I'm just going to bring that one in.
Gary's just
Dave,
like,
can I get you to... Can I put it between your legs?
there we go.
Cool.
He wants to put it
I want to put it between your legs.
and go live.
Oh, what? Oh, shit. That's fine. Waiting for YouTube... Oh, waiting for broadcast to be published. Okay, so... It's coming from a new signal, so maybe YouTube's just like, what's going on? Have you been hacked?
What are you doing? Why are you...
It says we've been live for 44 seconds, but...
Lags.
Maybe we'll just have to refresh this
Will
and just check, because we would know, we'd see the actual, you know,
Evening. Waddy's in. Hey, Waddy.
yo.
Hey, Waddy. Fist bumps. Start
We'll
with
just
fist bumps.
refresh the page. It says it's still waiting there.
Like this is like a 30-second delay, or
There is a delay,
because
but
there's always a delay with stuff like this. Isn't there?
yeah. I mean, I did put the Steam code key in. Everything should be set up. It says that we're there with the YouTube. I'm just gonna say.
Teething.
Technical.
Technical.
Ian done fucked.
Technical stuff is happening.
Yeah. Can they? I don't know if they can hear us. I'm just gonna talk while you. Hey yo. While you're working with that.
Yeah.
Hello. I don't know if can you guys hear us? Can you
I
hear us?
don't.
You hear us?
Why am I getting stuff through here? Maybe we have viewers and we have chat, so it's like, well, it's working. But where from? Is it just not on this page?
Are you? Yeah, you did. You still have to go live on this one. Why have you gone?
Check me phone.
Well, you use OBS to actually go live, so
Oh yeah, you do, don't you?
because I could end the stream.
We're on.
We are on. Okay,
We are
it's very
on,
strange,
we are.
guys. We are having technical stuff happening. It is annoying. But...
See, and you were me in the car. You were like, "Oh, why go unplug your Xbox
Well,
in the middle of
it's-
stuff?" It's like stuff happens, dude.
Stuff happens. I
Just
know. Well,
work it.
it's because we've transitioned from OBS to Streamlabs OBS.
Yeah.
So that's why we're having a couple of technical
And we've got
things.
stuff on one
So,
screen, so yeah,
like-
and then stuff on the other. So
like
hey
that-
guys,
that
hey
should
Mongo
just-
Mongo, hey Chris Kanaski, hi I live
that's
of welfare. They can hear us. Hey guys, is there any plans on reviewing Tremors sequels? Need more Burt
Okay.
Gummer. See, somebody's on Tremors already.
Yeah, we definitely need to do the Tremor sequels. We
so-
need more Gummer.
Gary's working with all the widgets and stuff at the moment, and so it's just like, hey guys, thanks for joining us.
Right,
Fist bumps.
now I can just take a break. No, I can't. We've got a podcast to do.
Yeah, we've got a podcast.
Well, the chat box has disappeared again. I think the chat box just appears and reappears. I could probably figure out later on how to keep it staying there.
Yeah,
Like we said, teething problems.
yeah, as long
Lots
as
of
you guys
teething
can hear
problems.
us and see us, and we can see us, and it is going to pause later. Hey Nella.
Hey Dan, hey Raza, hey Boss, hey I live off welfare, hey Chris, hey Mongo. I think that's
Hey,
everybody so
Bugs.
far.
Yeah.
and hey to all those that are hiding, without posting, not typing.
All you introverts, you.
Those that are afraid of keyboards.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. I've literally spent most of the last couple of days trying to figure out the new software, and it's working. At first, I was absolutely petrified. I was just like, because people keep saying, "Oh, you're using OBS. That's great, but you should use Streamlabs OBS
Right.
specifically for YouTube, because OBS is great for Twitch, but that was around for Twitch, but not really integrated that well with YouTube."
Yeah.
I was like, well, how do I integrate, the live streams more with YouTube? And I was like, you need Streamlabs OBS. I was like, I'll go check it out. Clicked on it, and it was like, please link your YouTube account to OBS. I was like, okay. And then it came up saying, if you agree to this, you give permission to Streamlabs OBS to delete videos, add videos, delete your entire YouTube channel if you want to. And so I went, yeah, okay. Well, I didn't do that straight away.
Yeah,
okay.
what?
I literally spent about 6 hours just going, should I do that? But every single streamer on YouTube, like even those with the millions of subscribers, all use Streamlabs OBS.
Yeah.
And not a single person that's used this software has been ripped off. No one's had their YouTube accounts deleted by them.
Right.
So it's fine. And so I've given them permission, and hence this is where we are now.
Okay.
One day they're like, everybody's gone.
No, because I was stressing out during the week as well because there was people getting hacked on YouTube and losing their entire channels because they were getting YouTube emails or messages sent to them going, hey, we want to sponsor you, click on this link. They click on this link and then 10 minutes later their YouTube channel's gone because they got hacked by clicking the link in their emails, which looked legit.
Jeez.
So it's just like, I just need to go and change all my passwords for everything.
There's always something though, isn't there? There's always something in the password. I get a couple where it's just like, hi Ian at this address, we are your whatever. And
We've watched all of your content and we think that we're the best fit for you. And I'm like, no, you haven't.
Yeah, but they misspelt something. And I'm like, oh man, if you misspelled that badly, you're not paying attention. Off you go.
Right.
Hey, Grandmaster.
Well, I think everything else seems to be in order, so I'm just going to load up.
We have an introvert as well. What up, introvert?
Yo.
So he's still moving stuff around.
I'm still moving stuff around. I've kind of half set up, half getting the the trailers ready.
We're just going to wait for it. We're just going to explode in our face and crash. And we'll just be like, okay, right.
Well, I was hoping maybe the stream health would be a little bit better, that the camera resolution would be a little bit better.
Dude, seriously, honestly, and and as long as it works and they can hear us, it's fine. It's fine. It's running.
Yeah,
the hamster's running in the wheel. Just let the hamster run.
Okay. It just feels weird taking the control away from this page, which we've had for like.
Yeah, I know.
That's every stream we've done.
That's it. That's the weirdest thing. We're looking at this and we're like,
this.
it says it's not online. It says offline. So
no, it does because I can hit the end stream button.
No, it says that here, but on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, but Dave has confirmed. Well, we know
it doesn't. So it's just weird. So yeah, I'll have to.
Yeah, I will actually come round to yours and install the software.
If I try to use the older one, will that?
Oh, you still use the old one, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll just.
The great thing with this though is that when you install this, it will literally just go, hey, we've got this stored memory of your settings. Do you want it? And it literally just went straight to as it was before. So
nice.
That's good. Anyway, I think everything.
Yeah, time to go to work.
It's
watching reviews on the Ref and Rocky Horror. Nice. Oh, the Ref with good old Kevin Spacey.
Indeed. The good old days.
And there's the days when Kevin Spacey wasn't a possible rapist.
Possible? I think it's confirmed, isn't it?
Well, the bodies haven't been found yet, have they?
I've not really looked into it.
No, don't. Right, okay. Don't stress it, Gary. Looks and sounds fine.
Cheers, boss. Thank you.
So far.
Until I hit record on this and then that blinks the sound on there.
Oh, just hit it.
Okay.
I'm with it.
Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews podcast number 39. We're going to catch up with the most recent films and TV shows we've watched before we go over the latest film news and trailers.
Nice.
In the second part, we will be discussing manga and anime.
Yes.
And finally, in the third part, we will be answering your questions. So first, I want to say, hey Ian, hey Dave.
Hey,
Sup, Ian?
Ian, what have you been up to?
Just going to get my t-shirt in here because I want to get my t-shirt in. I want to say like something massively exciting, like gone around the world or been to Disneyland. I haven't. I've just been at work.
Oh, didn't you have a week off?
Yeah, but you usually just if you're me, you spend that week just kind of lying around.
You were more busier in your week off than a normal week.
Oh, you don't want to do anything, and then you're like, you know what? I'm going to clean the toilet and tidy the bedroom. I'm going to take the kids out. You're going to watch that film that you haven't watched, and then sit around a little bit more and take it easy before you have to go back. I am. At this point of recording, 286 days. 2 weeks to 300 days.
Sober.
Almost.
Sober. No, I don't believe it.
Man, I'm getting closer to my 1 year challenge streak on Red Dead. Sorry, I had to bring it up. That's been keeping me going during the days. I've been meaning to put this up on the Facebook channel, so I'm going to chuck it up now. I've been watching Andy, our friend Andrew Burge's progression for his upcoming boxing
which is
match,
next month?
which is coming up in March. So by the time this goes up, it'll be like 2 weeks towards his fight. So I've been meaning to stick it up on the Facebook page to obviously promote it, but been so fucking busy with shit. So obviously, if you're a fan or you know him, obviously through the show, then obviously check him out on Facebook and give him a like or a shout, because obviously he kind of needs it. You see him in the pictures where it's just like, straining. I'm like, he kind of enjoys it. That's why people do it. They go to the gym. But then he's got that look in his eye where he's just like, I'm gonna punch somebody in the face. I'm like, okay, man, you just. So so that's coming up. Dylan got
tiring watching it.
What do you think
ropes about?
Do nothing during the holiday. Dylan got his blue belt in martial arts.
Very good. Very good.
He can almost kick me in the face now.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is, because
because he will.
we spar, and I don't mean to spar, but he's always had this excess energy to fight me. I don't know why. I don't know where he gets it from. Yeah. But now he's getting taller and bigger. Like today, we were training. I'm just like, right, okay, you got to aim your kicks, because I saw him in class, watched him in class, and he's aiming for these kicks, but he's kicking the person in their foot. It's like not even trying. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, come on in, right. Took him home and like let's practice. Let's see if you can get your leg up high, and then his leg's getting up really high. Yeah, Dad, I don't have to. And he's actually holding back in lessons because he can actually do it really well. And I'm like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But
why not do that in class?
Keep pushing yourself even more. But then he almost kicks me in the face, which I'm like,
okay.
That's all right. I got some films that I watched, but I don't really want to talk about them too much because I might go off on one.
Oh,
especially a specific one.
There was one in particular that you talked about that everybody was giving positive, glowing reviews about.
Really?
Uncut Gems. So, Ian, please, could you give us a short mini review of Uncut Gems?
Fucking Uncut Gems, pardon my French. Uncut Gems was 2 hours and 15 minutes of Adam Sandler walking around doing an Adam Sandler voice in a really well directed, constructed film, which was just kind of ruined by his voice and his presence and his acting all the way through the film. Man, tell me not. Am I dreaming? But there was a moment in that film after he looks at the crystal, because it's all about a crystal, yeah? That he gets from Africa, and
gem.
and a basketball star gets the gem and looks at it and goes, "Oh my God, this is the most magical thing ever." Is there a shot where Adam Sandler looks at it and then looks up at the camera and goes, "I'm gonna come"?
Well, wasn't that when he was? No, it was with the dome. I was thinking about when he was looking at his wife in the closet. But no, it's not him.
That wasn't his wife. That was his mistress.
His mistress.
That was his mistress. He kept leaving his wife, remember? Because he just came over, spent some time with the kids, and then he fucked off again, was an asshole somewhere else. For 2 hours! For 2 hours he was a complete jerk. And after an hour, I had to wiki it. Because I hadn't wikied it at that point. I wasn't even wanting to watch it. After an hour of watching this film, I was almost ready to turn it off. I wikied it and read the ending, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody if you want to watch it, but I was like, you know what, just for that I'm going to sit through the next hour. And I sat through, tormented myself for the next hour, and then the happiest ending in film history happened. And
well, I loved it. It was a stressful 2.25 hours of just absolute mayhem, because of he's basically addicted to stress and the thrill of the chase, so he's constantly pushing it a bit further. He's like, a few times it's like he can get a handle on the situation.
No way, because he's a massive addicted asshole.
Yeah, I know, that's what I said. He's addicted to it.
Yes, but it was such a dark way. Like it wasn't funny.
Well, there's some funny bits, like, I'm gonna can.
But so black comedy.
Oh, yeah.
So black comedy that it, like, there's comedy, like, and then there's black comedy. And I was...
It was stressful.
Stressful.
And, you can't watch a film like that all the time, but once in a blue moon, you sort of sit down, you strap yourself in.
Did you watch the David Lynch movie yet?
No.
What?
Is that the Jack one?
Did you watch it?
I haven't yet, no.
What the... You're right. You we
I like
can go
David
back
Lynch.
in
I've watched a lot of David Lynch stuff. So
Does
it's
anybody-
on my list of things to watch.
Oh, man.
I've got to be in that headspace for it.
You
really.
do. You do.
No, you don't. You just need to put it on in the background and maybe just tidy your house, because David Lynch talks to a monkey for 30 minutes. And
Yeah.
it felt like another 2 hours. I watched it straight after Uncut Gems, and it felt like another 2 hours. And by the time it finished, I was like, I don't know what's up or down anymore.
Sure.
You know, there was a chicken and a monkey, and it was amazing. So yeah, Uncut Gems. Don't watch Uncut Gems, but
Watch Uncut Gems. Don't listen to
don't
this.
No, don't watch Uncut
don't watch
Gems.
Uncut. Too wide, dude.
But I'm biased.
He's
I'm not even
biased.
going to watch it, so...
You should watch
I
it for the
can't
ending.
not recommend
I
it.
would love to see you survive 2 hours. No, just watch the ending. Just watch.
I
the ending.
don't even want to give it that, so... No.
I'm gonna car.
It's just 2 hours of fun in the Diamond District.
Dave, would you like to catch us up on what you've been watching recently?
I've just been watching loads of stuff. I went to the cinema yesterday. No, not yesterday. Thursday.
Yeah.
I've lost track of the week because of half term.
yeah. I
To
know.
watch Sonic the Hedgehog.
Excellent, I
Yes.
saw it too.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
I went in thinking it was going to be absolute dog shite. My kids love Sonic because I'm their dad. So we went in we went in the 4DX with the moving chairs and all that crap.
Right.
So a bit of a bit of entertainment for me and the mum. But
Did you tell Mum that it was going to be one of those experiences?
yeah, we went. I've got another film to talk about in a sec that we first experienced it on.
Mm-hmm.
But I was expecting it to be so terrible that I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't the worst.
I agree that it was as good as it could be for a live-action Sonic movie.
Jim Carrey saved it, didn't he? He saved it.
No, Jim Carrey is just... I mean, it's like
Did Sonic
90s
save
Jim
it?
Carrey again.
Don't
But-
tell me James Marsden saved it.
James Marsden is just James Marsden.
He,
Yeah, I know.
he is the most generic,
He's bland as the... You know,
and it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So you go into the. So what you're saying is you go into the movie like this. Like
no,
it's going to be dark.
I watched
And it's
that-
like-
as a kid's film. It was riveting, exciting. It was dark.
Yeah.
You know, it was bleak. You know, Sonic almost dies.
He almost said
Yeah,
bitch.
well,
right here.
right? Yeah.
But yeah,
so kids are gonna love it.
But like the first trailer was so bad, and the internet
Yes,
said it was
the
so bad.
backlash, Yeah.
That they changed it, and then the second trailer came out, and I was like, "It's better than the first trailer." Like they got rid of Gangster's Paradise,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it still wasn't funny. Like I was watching the trailer, and I was like, "Oh god!"
Have you seen Hot?
It was so unoffensive,
Yeah. It was safe, wasn't it?
but like it had some nice little Easter eggs in there.
Yeah.
The kids went mental with the stinger at the end.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'd love seeing Jim Carrey in full-blown Robotnik, kind of looking like he did in the first game.
Nice.
And I won't say anything else because that'll be a spoiler.
Sorry.
But like the animation at the end, where it sort of replayed the film, but in the sort of 2D sprite.
Yes, that was
cool.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Really? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, the other 4DX we saw was Birds of Prey.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of passed on Birds of Prey. I'm not.
I think everybody did, sadly.
Yeah, I've heard really good reviews, some mediocre reviews. No one's really slagging it off. It's just that no one's gone to see it because no one's really that bothered.
It's so sad. Like when we did a show, I think with Andy, it was about our like top 5 or 10 comic book stories,
Yeah.
and I told one about the Harley Quinn story I really liked, and this film is pretty much an adaptation of that.
Oh.
So that was badass, and Margot Robbie stole the show. She was fantastic.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
is.
she's definitely
She
a
is good.
great actress.
Rennie Montoya, the cop, was a really great character. The girl from Cloverfield Lane.
Okay, yeah. I forgot.
What,
her name.
Sarah
Mary
Sh-
Elizabeth Winstead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Name's Winstead.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love Mary Elizabeth.
She was
big
really good.
prequel.
Like, I didn't even notice till like 3/4 of the way through, and she went, "Oh, she's from Scott Pilgrim."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Ramona.
But yeah, and it was very extremely violent. There's one scene where Harley breaks the guy's leg.
Does she get coked up during the movie?
Yeah, that's in
so
the
I was just
trailer.
I was just like, I didn't see it in the cinema. I sent the wife. You know,
Yeah, and she
we're-
said
we're
she liked it.
girlfriends. But I wikied it, and I was just like, read the sequence where she gets coked up and beats the crap out of people. I'm like, I kind of want to see the movie just for that. You know, I want to see Harley Quinn with a baseball bat beat the crap out of a bunch of guys. And that bit in the trailer where she's like, I'm Harley freaking Quinn, bang. It's like, yeah, I'm
But,
in
like-
for the movie, but never go around to see it.
My friend to troll me will always send me like athletic videos of people you know, doing somersaults and then landing on the leg and snapping the legs, just because he knows I hate it.
Yeah.
But there's a scene in it where she kicks a guy's leg, it snaps one way,
Oh.
then she spins around, kicks the other leg, that one snaps, and then she kicks the first leg again and snaps it the other way. And
Nice.
I was in this moving chair with like vibrations and like jumping around the place, and it was
Yeah.
just so traumatic. Left this film going,
Joshing
"Oh,
you
God."
left and right.
Indeed. And then the other film I watched, because last time I was on the show, someone kept spamming the chat with it, was Salo.
Oh
And-
no!
Why?
The 120 Days
Of Sodom.
Well, okay then. Let's because I haven't watched it. I'll wiki it. How
Did you
great-
have a good
what- Yeah,
time?
what?
Ugh.
Are you enlightened now?
Well, I saw it in the chat, and then YouTube was like, "Oh, here's the top 10 most controversial films," and I was like, "There it is again. I'll watch it."
Did you watch it? Like you are a husband,
The wife went
and a father, and you're in the house like, "Bye, honey. Have a good day at work. Off you go, kids. I'm gonna get a cup of tea and sit down and watch Sailor 120 Days of Sodom."
To be fair, there are worse things you could be doing.
No, my wife went.
You're live acting it in your own home.
No, my wife went out for the night, and the kids went to bed. I was like, "Eh."
Been waiting for this moment.
Yeah, and then I went to bed early, and I was watching the rest on my iPad, and then the wife came in, and I felt bad. I was like, "God, the fuck am I watching?"
I need to hide this now. It's like it would have been better if you were watching porn.
But it's such a bizarre movie. Like, it's very much this is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've seen the Serbian film. Have
Yeah.
you seen the Serbian film?
Yeah. I've seen
And that
shit.
felt like it was out to shock.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was like fake for fake. But Salo is like
This is like
this is real actors in situations and being filmed in this. The director himself is like being taken to court, you know. And
well, he was murdered just for it was
murdered
released, wasn't it?
shit, you know. This guy did possible things like I haven't seen on camera, and people are like, "You should totally watch it, Ian." And I'm like. And you're like, I'm gonna watch it on a Thursday night.
But it's like it's
David
like,
was just
oh.
Thursday.
But it's so weird. It's like it's about these three fascist like blokes.
Yeah, I know the story. I've seen them.
And
I've
his
seen
soldiers, and they just round up all these like teenager boys and girls, and,
it. Oh yeah.
and it's just like, well, today's this day, and this day's about
It's
shit,
like
and they're
going
gonna be eating shit.
like a world war or something. Like the
Yeah,
fascists
it's-
know that at the end of World War II, these guys are so rich and they know they're going to die that they're just going to take out all of their horrible, nightmarish visions of sodomy and.
And it is, and
shit-eating.
to the end, there's like there's three women. One just plays the piano while the other two women just tell stories about how they were like prostitutes at age 7
Right.
to get the freaking men in the mood to rape the kids. Ugh. But she when it comes near the end, she's like, "What the fuck have I been here witnessing?" And just jumps out of a window.
Yeah.
While the other three guys watching through binoculars out the window at all these teens getting executed, like scalped,
Yeah.
the parts cut off, and it looked so.
So
like for a film from the, I think it was the 60s or 70s. I can't remember what it was made.
So,
I think it was the
towards the end
70s.
of the 60s,
Yeah.
70s,
But
kind of
it
73?
Looked like so.
But the thing is,
Real.
I said in a previous podcast, the cast and crew had no idea how awful the film was until it was in editing when they pieced it together and went, "Holy shit!
Yeah, this is
what
like
have we made?"
Cannibal Ferox,
'Cause they all had a good
Cannibal
time, like,
Holocaust
making
level
it.
fucking. You know, this is like 1960s Blair Witch. I've got a camera. Let's see what
Let's
the
see
hell I
what
can
we can do.
You know, practical effects blow your ass off. CGI out the window. You know,
But like most films like that, well, that it was sort of categorized.
there
with.
are no films.
You kind of finish, you go, well, that was gross, or like they went a bit over the top. But this actually stuck with me for a few weeks.
Yeah, man.
It's so unnerving,
Yeah, man.
and it's just the music, just the whole feel of the film is so.
Oppressive.
Yeah,
and,
man.
Oh.
You felt like you watched a bunch of teens get executed
hopeless.
by a bunch of fascists.
So yeah, so when the wife came to bed, I was like, just curled up. Like,
Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
I'm sorry for being a man.
Dude, dude, I feel for you. Like, people say, Ian, why do you wiki your movies? Salo, 120 Days of Sodom, thank you very much. You know, this man is traumatized. Like, he watches a lot of shit, and then he watches a movie and he goes, Ian, I wish I'd wikied it. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, but that's like a one case, you know.
And so you walk into Sonic like, wow, Sonic the Hedgehog was like really good. For Dave, it was Thursday.
Well, I was watching the Cradle of Filth videos earlier because I was bored.
Awesome.
And there's
It's like a nice appetizer.
Babylon AD, the song. And it's basically a recreation of that film, so it was like
Yeah.
traumatic just before the podcast. Like, oh no, it's back again.
Man.
Anyway, yeah, that was me.
Cool.
Man, I did watch Joker though.
Finally,
Oh,
way!
Greatest fucking movie ever made. I mean,
Awesome.
obviously it's
Well.
no cello.
No, you did. You actually liked it.
I absolutely loved it.
Oh, okay.
I
That
know.
didn't know if that was sarcastic.
No, absolutely.
It does sound it when anyone goes, yeah, best film ever made.
Absolutely, 100%. Couldn't think of anything worse to watch at that time. Like, it was just, I was in stitches at certain points. You know, I was laughing. I was upset at other points. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix like had me by the short and curlies.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I knew it because for ages before the film came out, we were on tenterhooks.
Oh,
with
yeah,
our-
the whole time.
with
Yeah.
our comic book movies. You know,
Again, a lot of
Aquaman.
people were just like, oh, Joaquin Phoenix, oh, don't know about him playing the Joker.
Yeah, and then it just became such a massive hype valley
No,
of, hey, this you have to. You have to, because everybody is now, and I'm like, no, because I'm such a fan of the Joker, I don't want to be misled too easily. I want to kind of enjoy this for myself, and it got to a point where during the week, had 2 hours in the front room, hooked my headphones into my TV now, which is like the best thing ever. Lay on my beanbag, put the headphones on, turned it up, but turn the TV down. So for me, it's like blasted in my ears, and you know, like I said, laughing at some points. Fucking crying at some points. Loved the sequence where he walked onto the subway train, takes the mask off of one guy, starts a mid-fight, just kind of blends into the crowd. Everything kicks off, flows out into the city, and he's just, you know, and he's wiping blood on his face.
Yeah.
He was also dancing when Gary Glitter came on.
That's not what I think. That song's not the song by Gary Glitter. It's the song from Replacements.
But yeah, I watched it in the cinema the day it came out because I didn't want to hear any spoilers.
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
And yeah, I left the film and I was like, oof. Like,
Yeah,
I was on my mind all day. I was like, you know, thinking about.
Oh, it's a haunting experience. Like,
But it's kind
watchable.
of. He's such untrusted narrator that you're kind of like.
what was real, what's
What-
not.
yeah.
I think it's easy enough to dissect,
Yeah.
mostly. And if not, then the whole story of Gotham
But
behind
that's
it
the
is...
magic of it, because
Yeah.
it's the Joker. It could be all in his head. Just seeing that paint smace on his
Yeah.
face, the final joke on Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro was brilliant.
Yeah, Robert De Niro was
Robert
always
De Niro
great.
was brilliant.
Yeah.
I just
No,
wish
yeah.
they didn't put in that scene where it was like, see, this didn't happen. Look, it's like you didn't need that bit.
I really,
No, but...
I did like the sequence, sorry, where Bruce Wayne's parents died. I was just like, connections.
Yes, yeah.
Gotham City.
Yeah, at the same time I was
It was
just
a
like,
shocker.
oh, it's
I
a
didn't-
Batman
it wasn't-
origin again.
I thought they were going to get
It's
out there
fine.
alive, to be honest.
Yeah. It's just interesting that it's kind of like blaming the Joker then because he was one of the instigators in the rise. I mean, the
In the
Gotham
magic
was
of the
falling apart
multiverse.
anyway. He was
Yeah.
the ignition that actually killed the
Yeah.
Waynes, and it's just like, oh, okay, it's interesting. Yeah.
Well, the director was talking about he was actually going to kill them, I think, but they changed their mind.
With that-
Yeah.
But I like that because even though he's wearing a mask, it's Joe Chill. And Joe, you know, if you're a comic book fan, much like, you know, when you said about Birds of Prey, nobody's going to see it. I'm buying that shit on DVD.
Sure.
I'm going to watch it. And I'm gonna
I
see
think
all
it
the
probably will
snippets
recoup
of
a
that.
lot of its money then too.
So-
Yeah. Well, I also managed to catch quite a few films over the last month. I
Yeah.
had quite a catch up. I literally spent like the last 2 weeks binge watching so that I could have this discussion with Dave.
Yeah.
Mr. Robot. Yeah. I've literally, because last time I spoke to you, I'd finished season 1. I'd like 3 or 4 episodes into season 2. Now I finished season 2, finished season 3, and I finished season 4.
I was trying to talk to you about season 2. Have you got to the point where
I'm like,
I
nope.
can't really talk about it?
Now I gotta say, season 2 was, in comparison to season 1 and 4, season 2 was awful. Like, I struggled. I mean, I went back to season 2 and I carried on watching it and I was just like, this is hair-pullingly awful. Like, you've killed off my favourite characters.
Yeah.
You know, the story's gone off in another tangent, and it's all dealing with the after effects of the end of the first season. And because a lot of the characters that were together are now all split up, I'm just like, you're introducing a bunch of new characters, you're creating all these new stories, and then you're going deeper and deeper into all the levels of conspiracies. There are, every 5 episodes there's another massive plot twist that makes you rethink the other seasons. And so if you're not paying attention, you're just like,
what the hell's going on?
And then by season 4, you're in David Lynch fucking territory with like, is it in his mind? Are they hopping dimensions? Is it time travel? Is it what is going on? Because characters are like, yeah, we can just go back. Your parents, I'm just like, it's all in his head. It's all in. We're in the Matrix.
Yeah.
But then I found it, because it knew where it was going. It did throw it, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? But it said, take your time. I'm gonna explain it.
Sam Esmail said he knew the ending from the get-go, and he never told the cast until the season arrived what was happening.
Nice.
But there's one great thing, because I rewatched it the last few months with my wife,
Very
because I
good.
finished it. I was like, I need someone to see this so I can talk to him.
Sure.
But I was watching season 1, and there's a scene where he's on a come down.
Yes. He tries different drugs.
Well, he's on a come down before the main mission.
He tries to go sober, doesn't he?
Yeah, and they basically hold him in a motel room.
Yeah.
And then he goes through some dream sequences, and it actually shows a scene from the final episode.
Really?
Yeah, where he meets Angela.
Yeah.
It plays that scene. But when she says,
it's amazing. It's
when
the way
she
it's
says a name,
yeah,
in season 1 it just glitches,
right,
and then it kicks you out.
That's awesome.
But it almost broke the entire story. But
exactly. Yeah, I guess it's very subtle. Like I said, because the creator and the writer knew where everything was going.
Yeah.
It's incredibly well structured and put together. Like a mastermind. And you get to watch the whole thing, like spoilers, mastermind.
Yeah.
But it's very well performed. The style of the show is very unique. I've never seen a TV show do anything like that before.
Nearly every episode is like directors, I want to try something new.
Yeah.
Like some shots just reminded me of Kubrick.
Yes. Yeah.
So
sometimes it reminded me of Fincher, just like the clean, sterile kind of camera work. And there was one episode in particular that I really enjoyed. I mentioned it to Ian, and I think it was during season 3, where the first 20 minutes is all done like a 1970s sitcom.
Oh, brilliant! I think it's season 2.
It might have been season 2. I think that was the episode that made me just go, okay, I'm getting back into this because you're doing something weird again.
Just Alf turns up.
Yeah,
like, hey,
yeah, no, Alf turns up.
That's after her mum
exactly.
punches Darlene in the face.
I know, that's what I was like, you've gone into obscure land. I'm like, I'm enjoying this.
But there's one episode which is kind of like 1917's one shot.
Yes,
and it is sublime. To the point, there's one part where it's following Angela from behind. At one point, it starts to go above her.
Yes,
and then it's a bird's eye view to the point it hits the end of a building. It half goes out of the building so you can see down below the skyscraper, and half in the room.
Yeah,
I'm just like, this is
great.
Phenomenal. How are they even doing this?
Yeah, it really is great. It really is great. But like I said, story-wise, I had troubles with the middle 2 seasons, but it starts really strong and it ends really well. So if you follow it all the way through, it's like one of those season finales where you're just like, you nailed it.
See,
I teared up when I watched it again. It's just
I was
so
sad.
beautiful.
I was like, all my friends are going now.
It was
but
just so special, and
it was. But
it's the case, right? Anything with Rami Malek in at the moment is kind of
Rami Malek is really good.
But all the characters in it by the end.
Christian Slayer, all the characters.
Even Joey Badass. I love Joey Badass. He's cool.
Yeah. But speaking of season 4s and endings, one of my most beloved TV shows of late has passed away.
Which one?
The Good Place.
Oh, Ted Danson. Yeah.
Ted Danson and Kirsten Bell. They've just finished their 4th season. Now, when I was recommended, The Good Place in the first place, I was like, that sounds like everything I hate about television. And so, but the concept, it called to me. It was like, this is great. It's a character who's in heaven when she really belongs in hell.
Yeah.
And her trying to deal with, and pretend. And all of the plot twists that go through all 4 seasons. Yeah. The creator, again, knew how it was going to end, kept it secret from everybody. But that last episode, it was like 60 or 70 minutes long. Oh my God, I locked my door. I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to acknowledge anybody. I am depressed as fuck right now. I just need like the next 2 days to go and recover, because it was bittersweet, but it was haunting, and it was emotional, and I was like, the level of writing and all of the philosophies that the show goes into, whilst
Right.
having this veneer of kind of crappy American sitcom,
Yeah.
but it has like that level underneath it, which just excels it to being one of the greatest TV shows of the last decade.
It's the Parks and Rec people, yeah.
I think
Or the Parks and Recreation writers.
it's
I think it's the same makers.
Michael Schur. Michael Schur? I'm not sure. I wasn't a big fan of
Michael
Parks and
Schur.
Rec.
Michael Schur. No.
I really
I'm
like
not, I'm not
Parks and-
sure if it was Michael Schur or what Michael Schur did before.
I really like Parks and Rec, but it's something I came to really late, even though everybody was like, "Yeah, it's really good,"
Yeah.
and then I really liked it, and then again
Very
with this, I saw
office-like.
like it come out, but I still haven't watched it. But I know
Sure.
I probably will like it, but I'm
Yeah.
just so late to it for no
It's
reason.
the
Yeah,
same
well-
thing with Mr. Robot. It's like I keep hearing about all these amazing, great TV shows, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch that. Oh yeah, 5 seasons in, it's finished, and it was amazing, and you missed out. And I'm like, oh.
Well,
I'll
Mr.
wait for the next
Robot's
one.
on Amazon Prime in the UK, and I think it was USA in America.
You know, I ain't gonna leave the WWE network.
The Good Place is on Netflix, and obviously now it's finished. All 4 seasons
All
are there.
4 seasons, yeah.
It's again, the middle 2 seasons are weaker than
It's
the
got-
first and fourth.
It's got Ted Danson in it.
got
Can't go wrong with
Ted
Ted
Danson.
Danson.
There is a moment in the last episode where Ted Danson, I think, is behind a bar,
Yeah.
you know, and he pours a drink, and I'm just like,
And
It's just-
I think when it first
It got
came
me.
out, I
It
got
really
freaked
got me.
out because I thought he was dead. Because
Right.
it's like he's
No, it
in this
doesn't look
show
like
where
he's
he's in
aged at
heaven.
all.
And I'm like, is Ted Danson still alive? Well, he must be. Oh, it's
Yeah.
going to be
He
brilliant.
took
It's got
over
Ted Danson.
CSI for a while.
Ted Danson was in CSI.
Yeah, I don't watch it. My wife loves it,
yeah.
but I think he was in the main CSI. He like took over as the main sort of
Investigator.
bloke.
Cool.
The main chicken.
Chicken dinner.
Yeah, but I know it's an odd recommendation, but if you've never heard of it, or if you're slightly interested, you need to check out The Good Place. It'll break your heart.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I got to see recently is The Color Out of Space, and it's something we've mentioned in like the last 2 or 3 podcasts since the trailer for it emerged, since news of it broke out.
He loves
Well,
that
that was-
Lovecraft shit.
I love that H.P.
Lovecraft
Lovecraft shit,
shit.
and I have to say, The Color Out of Space is the best
Yeah!
adaptation of an H.P. Lovecraft story I have ever laid eyes on.
I didn't know what way he was gonna go.
Yeah, I knew you were
Richard, I
nervous
mean
about it.
Richard Stanley, you know, the director. When that trailer came out, I was just like, ooh, like I like the look of it. It's like it
Yeah.
has that
Yeah.
pink neon glow of of the old H.P. Lovecraft movies, like
Yeah.
From Beyond.
Yeah.
I
You
don't,
know?
and I also love the hey, here's a trailer. It's out at the end of the week.
Right? Yeah.
Brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah. Nicolas Cage is fantastic.
What planet was he on?
Well,
He starts off like kind of,
estranged
Don't
anyway.
say normal.
But
Yeah.
Don't say normal.
no, it's Nicolas Cage. It's
Yeah,
Nicolas Cage.
But then he just-
But then he becomes Nicolas Cage.
Many
I have to
stages of
say,
Nicolas Cage.
it's been however long since I originally saw John Carpenter's The Thing, since I've seen prosthetic
Yeah.
effects in a movie that are as good as Rob Bottin's work from the 80s. Like it was horrific. Like we mentioned,
yeah.
you know, like Stuart Gordon's old, you know, horror movies, you know, like The Dentist and
Yeah.
and Reanimator and stuff like that. You look at it and you go, that's really good effects, but I know it's prosthetics.
Yeah.
The Color Out of Space, the prosthetics and the horror was stomach churning.
Do you think, did they have a good balance of prosthetics and computer generated effects that if they'd managed to do it
You know,
for the Thing
I was
prequel?
watching the film and I was like, did they actually have all those pink neon lights there? Was that
Exactly.
put in post?
Exactly.
I'm like, I couldn't tell.
Because I like I've seen Mandy and I've wikied The Color Out of Space and I kind of know the concept, but when you say the special effects are that good, my mind immediately then thinks, well, where is the uncanny valley? You know, I'm always
Yes.
looking for that uncanny valley, and when it's not there, then I go, and now I'm worried
Right.
because if that thing's real,
I'm just gonna
that's
say that
terrifying.
without going into too many spoilers, there are 2 characters that end up merged
yes,
together.
that's what I'd read, and
And
you're-
they're the living
And who-
organism that it is,
And who they are.
and who they are, is like it's easy to watch the film and just go, look at that, but then you just go, imagine you're there, that's in front of you, this is
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
You know, it's just like, holy shit, that's like the worst place in the universe right now.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're there with Nicolas
and you're
Cage.
there with Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage isn't even there. So yeah, I'm highly. For me, it's this year, 2020. It's Jojo Rabbit and the Color Out of Space. Like they're, depending on which sort of mood you're in that day, it's either aliens taking over the planet or funny Hitler. So 2020 has been a funny year. We're only 2 months in.
Imagine if is it Taika Waititi? If he directed,
Taika Waititi,
if he directed a H.P. Lovecraft movie.
I wanted him with Peter Jackson.
Yeah,
that would be great.
that'd be great.
But there's something else that, as a diehard Star Trek fanatic,
Yes,
the event has arrived. Jean-Luc Picard has returned to our TV screens.
yeah.
In Star Trek Picard, and it's not fucking Star Trek. It's this now. It's Star Wars Trek. It's
How many episodes are out?
What
now
is that
at the
even?
moment?
5 episodes. It means that
He's a detective. He's
Star
investigating.
Trek, as we
not
knew
captain
it,
of a
like the
starship.
5 original
Did I hear he had
series,
an eye patch?
it's nothing like that anymore. The Federation is corrupted. It's been infiltrated. It's been destroyed. All of the Starfleet officers swear at each other.
Weren't they swearing in Discovery as well?
Yes, they are, which is annoying. It's just like, I mean, this is pre. You can go,
Yeah.
okay, so they were swearing pre-Kirk days,
Pre-Kirk
but
days.
now they're also swearing,
Why did
post-Picard days.
Why did they need to add it though?
So that it could be edgy and
It
new
could-
and
it could
modern.
Be
and
edgy
like,
in different ways.
but I'm like, but they don't.
No, they can't. That's the problem.
The
with Star
thing
Trek.
that
It's
bugs
kind
me
of-
is that the Federation has gone. It's gone. It's still there, but it's not as it was in generations.
Yeah.
We're not the peace-serving, diplomatic, loving race. Like
Yeah.
the Federation's just like the reason the Federation. The whole crux of it is like the Romulan homeworld blew up, and the Federation were going to help, but Mars blew up, took out all of the space stations that build starships.
Wait. Romulus blew up.
Romulus blew up, but then
Mars blew up.
but then robots, synthetic robots,
Yeah.
blew up Mars. I mean, Mars is still there, but it's just on fire. And all the space stations were around it, which built all of, the Enterprise, the Voyager, the Defiant, all those space yards, all gone. So
Okay.
Federation goes, do we still want to help the Romulans? And then 4 Federation planets went, hey, you help the Romulans, we're leaving the Federation, which is made up of thousands of planets and species.
And,
But the Federation went, those 4 are going to pull out if we don't help the Romulans, so fuck the Romulans. And I'm like, the Federation would never do that. Like, it just wouldn't do that. I'd be like, you
kind of,
xenophobes
mate, they
don't
were kind
belong
of-
in the Federation anymore.
They were
Clearly.
they were kind of doing it in Undiscovered Country,
It's
and they were kind of doing it in Insurrection.
It's just so sad
Yes,
to see
it
this
is.
bleak,
Yeah.
horrible. I mean, like, Picard, like, one of his best speeches is just like, in the future, we don't have money, we don't have poverty, we don't have disease, everyone works together. Now in Star Trek Picard, people are pissed, people are living in shacks, people, they don't have enough money to get by, and I'm like, well, what happened? It's
They
the
were
Star
trying to-
Wars syndrome of jumping 30 years later and going, oh, this has happened, but we're not going to tell you any of it.
They were trying something. They were trying something new, and Patrick Stewart, he's in his mid-50s.
Yeah. Oh, he's in his 60s now.
He's in his 60s, so
Yeah.
he's like William Shatner age when William Shatner was in his prime.
Watching poor Patrick Stewart running around being thrown over tables and things, I'm just like,
And-
you're going to kill him!
Exactly, and they've got to bring it up to
looks so
date.
fragile.
They've got to make it more actiony.
Yes.
They've got to keep your attention
yes.
span longer than 5 minutes, because you're not going to stand there. We're not going to sit there anymore and enjoy them sat behind a bridge going, "Sir, they were scanning the nebula nearby, and it's full of these positronic rays." Oh, and shaking left. We aren't going to enjoy the shaking left and right of the camera anymore, are we?
No.
It's got to be
I tell you,
the story, though.
the story is going nowhere. The second episode of Picard
Yeah.
is one of the most miserable experiences I've ever had watching a piece of television in my life. The dialogue was fucking awful. Like, there's 2 characters and they're teleporting around between lots of different environments, keeping
Yeah.
the one conversation going. And the conversation is so uninteresting that the camera needs to keep putting them in different locations to keep, jar you back into the experience.
He told me this, and I was just like, I don't. In my mind, I was just like, I don't know what to say. That he's
I defended Discovery. I was like, it's its own thing. Whatever.
So who's this for? Because like
the new Star Trek fans, they're trying to keep Star Trek alive, and they're killing it.
Picard is not going to get new people to watch. Like you're not going to get kids to watch this old man from a series.
The numbers
they
for
weren't
Picard are doing really good. Amazon are just like, shit, people are watching this.
People are watching it because
but it seems like all the older fans is just going to piss them off.
Yeah. And now I will say, episode 5 did give me a couple of moments where I just went, whew. But I don't know. I'm a guy. I grew up watching Jerry Ryan in in Star Trek Voyager.
Oh, so you got some TNA.
I got some TNA.
Oh, yeah.
I got 7 of 9.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, she turns up,
she turns up, and there's a couple of sequences where she's running around with dual fucking blasters, just blasting everybody away, and I'm just like,
I could. Yeah. Well, we're 5 episodes.
I could watch some more. It only took me 5 episodes to get there, but.
Data's back as well.
I'm going to continue watching it because I'm a stupid Star Trek fan, and
is Data not teaming up with Picard?
No, Data's dead still, and it's Data appears in dreams, flashbacks, and in a holographic room. You know, a holodeck.
See, I think that's the problem.
There's hints of lore, and they also have the broken robot of B4.
Yeah, the one from Nemesis.
From the series, I think.
Yeah, but at the end of Nemesis, he had a secondary one.
Yeah. But they explain in Picard that Data's positronic net cannot be embedded in an inferior model, and it doesn't work.
Get emotions and stuff like
Was Nemesis the film?
With
Did they start in
Tom
June
Hardy.
buggies?
Yes, they're driving around.
Yeah.
My friend dragged me to see that because he didn't want to go to the cinema alone.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't understand the blowing up of Mars and them having those being the only ship stations they've got to build ships.
Well,
they've got thousands of planets.
Yeah, no, but Earth and Mars is like the Federation. Well, that's our the humans area. You know, the Federation is everything else, but that's where the humans build their ships on the Mars colony station, and it's always been that way in Star Trek lore.
It's been in like every sci-fi lore. It's like Mars is our great war planet. I'm like, no, let's do this over here, so we're not all clumped up in one area.
So yeah, it's sad.
Planets have to stop blowing up in Star Trek. Kronos exploded. Romulus exploded. Fucking Mars exploded.
Yeah.
Next,
should we get into some news?
Yes.
Well, I hate to say it, but we've got some sad news to go into first. That legendary actor Kirk Douglas has passed away at the age of 103.
Damn.
He was a wrestler in his early years.
Yeah.
He went on to Broadway shows and served in World War II before appearing on the big screen. He was Oscar nominations followed with 1949's Champion and 1952's The Bad and the Beautiful, before his most iconic role in 1960's Spartacus, which ended up being directed by Stanley Kubrick after they kind of got rid of the original director.
Yeah.
Michael Douglas, his son, obviously paid tribute to his father with a message that read, "Kirk's life was well lived, and he leaves a legacy in film that will endure for generations to come, and a history as a renowned philanthropist who worked to aid the public and bring peace to the planet."
They kind of disappeared. The whole family disappeared from limelight for.
Kirk Douglas had a stroke.
Years?
And so he hid himself from public whilst he kind of, had to go to speech therapy and learn how to speak all over again.
Yeah.
And then from there he was doing lots of charity events, raising money for people that had strokes.
That's what I mean. But Michael Douglas, Michael Douglas himself has had an amazing career.
Yeah.
I watched a film called Animal World. It came out about 2 years ago. It's a Chinese film.
Okay.
Right.
And it starts off like a crazy, over-the-top CG martial arts film with a guy dressed as a clown killing weird aliens in a
What's this
train station.
And then Kirk Douglas turned up.
But I thought it was going to be a big action film, but it's actually a film about people stuck on a ship and they have to play scissors, paper, rock with these cards.
Paper, rock, scissors.
Or paper, rock, scissors.
It's a Cello story all over again. Huh?
No, it's a weird game. It's quite clever, and this guy's trying to work out. You have so many cards. Each person starts with so many, papers, so many scissors, and you've got to finish in the time allotment with 0 cards and 3 stars. You lose a star if you lose a game. You gain a star if you win a game. But it's all run by
Sounds like-
Michael Douglas.
Okay.
He just comes out of nowhere, and he's the big bad guy who's running it all in this all Chinese film.
Was his dad there?
No. But that was it was strange. It was a good film. But
What was it called?
Animal World.
Animal World.
But Kirk Douglas, he was
Goodbye,
good.
Kirk. Next piece of news. Sam Raimi, because if ever there's Sam Raimi news,
Yeah.
I want to bring it up. But
Yeah.
Sam Raimi looks like he's been taken under the wing of Marvel, and he looks like he's going to be the next director for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Really?
Scott Derrickson has left the project. Obviously, the original director moved on from Hellraiser 7 or 8, I think
What?
he did.
Scott Derrickson did. Oh, he
He
did.
directed the last Doctor Strange film.
And then he went on to Hellboy.
No, he did Hellraiser. One of the later Hellraiser movies.
Okay.
Like it was like 8 or 9 he did.
Right, and then he.
And
did
then he went on to
Doctor
Doctor Strange.
And then he was going to do.
But
Doctor
now
Strange
he's
2.
been removed for creative differences. And that's what I'm afraid of. I'm like, so you get rid of Scott Derrickson, who was great, and you bring in Sam Raimi. And all I think when I see Marvel is just hire yes men, because half the time your directors, you're just like, we don't like what you're doing, so we're taking over now. And the director goes, well, fuck you, I'm leaving. You know, Taika Waititi is an exception. Jon Favreau had issues in the early days. You know, we've had all those other Disney stories of directors being removed from projects because Disney are like, we know better. This is what we want. So I'm like, why hire someone who has creative, freedom and then go, this is what we want?
Because they want to sell toys, and if the story that the director is possibly trying to tell cannot be made into little plastic figures and sold to children around the time that the film is released.
Well, I mean,
Well, no, did
Sam Raimi
Ragnarok,
did the
right?
Spider-Man trilogy. He's done the Darkman.
Oh, man, yeah,
so I'm
totally.
Spider- he's no stranger to comic book adaptations.
fuck
Are we
him.
going to get Doctor Strange dancing down the street?
It's in the multiverse of madness, so I
Bruce
can only
Campbell-
imagine all sorts.
Bruce Campbell's going to be in a
in
Marvel
it.
movie.
Bruce
Hells yes! Hells yes! He's literally just going to open the tour for Doctor Strange, and he'll get out
Yeah,
of the
that'll be
taxi
it, yeah,
and be
yeah.
like, thank you very much, and he'll walk off.
Oh, he could be Darkman.
Oh,
He
can
could
you
be
hold?
Darkman.
Can you hold this book? And
Yeah.
it's the
The
Necronomicon.
Necronomicon.
And he takes it back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad. to say,
Endless
like,
possibilities. It's the multiverse.
It's the multiverse.
Endless possibilities.
Excitement.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's why I was like, yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, Scott Derrickson.
But it was the same with Space Director, wasn't it? Scott Pilgrim director.
Yes,
Not
with
Nick Frost.
Ant-Man.
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright,
yeah.
he got booed
Yeah.
off as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
Well, he's off.
Creative differences.
he was right.
Well, he did.
He was
Ant-Man
Ant-Man
too, didn't he?
No.
He did.
He
We
was-
did most of the work on Ant-Man, then at the last second he left.
Yeah, and then they brought in somebody else and changed it. It happened on Han Solo, and
Man, Han Solo was terrible. Why'd you go there for?
because that's what happened. They got rid of the directors of Lego Movie, and then brought in somebody else. They brought in Ron Howard. So,
Han Solo was just horrible.
yeah, exactly.
So
So that's why I worry when I see great directors that I love go to Marvel. I'm just like, oh. It just means we're going to get half a movie from them, and we'll be like, give us the Sam Raimi cut. And here's a bit of news.
Yeah.
Eli Roth, who's he's going to be directing a Borderlands movie. The video game series has sold more than 50 million copies worldwide now. The basic premise is four Vault Hunters travel to Pandora to find advanced alien technology that lies hidden within a vault, whilst fighting off the wildlife, bandits, and rival factions in a zany and twisted Mad Max-inspired wonderland.
So deserts, buggies, explosions,
Lots of weapons,
and-
lots of crazy
and
characters.
some gunfire. Well, you'll want to see lots of weapons. They won't. They'll just have funky weapons with lots of ammo. And
Yeah, Eli Roth has said that he felt like his relationship with it's not Miramax, it's Lionsgate. I think he's done
Right.
all of his films with. He's like,
Yeah.
we built up this relationship over nearly 20 years of movie making, and he's like, now I'm ready for Borderlands.
So he's made what?
Did-
5 movies?
Did he
Eli
make
Roth
that?
made a lot of films.
Did he
made a
make
lot
that
of films.
cannibal?
He made that cannibal one.
Oh,
one of those
Green-
recent ones. Green Fever,
Green
Jungle
Green-
one,
Green-
yeah, the Cannibal Ferox one that
yeah,
nobody
Green
went and
Terror or
saw.
something.
It's,
The
Not
gore in
Green
that
Ring.
was good.
Yeah, I mean that's what
film
Eli
was
Roth does. He does gore very well ever since Cabin Fever, but Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's made like 5 films of all the same kind of niche
They're all gore
aspect of
fests,
gore
yeah.
fest, and there it's like. I mean, I think the best performance he ever had was the bear in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah. I think Eli Roth and Borderlands is a nice marriage. You know, I'm just like, yeah, you know, meh Borderlands, meh Eli Roth. If you make something that I like, I'm like, at least there's something in the Borderlands that I like.
Yeah, true. There'll be explosions and headbutts
Yeah.
and stuff, yeah.
Now, here's an exciting bit of news.
Oh, yes, nice.
Rick Moranis has come out of retirement.
Yes.
Not for Ghostbusters, but for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot
I'm up for
called
this.
Shrunk.
I'm up for this.
Rick Moranis is actually going to be reprising the role of scientist
Ian
Wayne
Farrell,
Zlizinski.
Yeah.
Joe Johnson is returning as the director from the original film. I'm just like, this all sounds great.
Yeah.
I rewatched the first one with my kids about a year ago.
Still holds
Amazing.
up.
Still holds up.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The special effects team was done by I think it's Brian Yuzna or Stuart Gordon's team.
Okay.
You know, the people from Reanimator.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they did
yeah.
the effects for that film, and you're just like, yeah, it's.
Man, since the story dropped, you know, years ago, that obviously Rick Moranis had retired from acting because of the passing of his wife and
Yeah.
him having to take care of his children.
Yeah.
Like, my love for the actor, like, I'd always loved him. Every time I saw him, like, he made films quirky,
Yeah.
you know.
Like,
but
is there a bad film you can think of off your top of your head?
Honey, I
Blew up the kids.
no, yeah, well, the third one. The second one's not bad.
I've only watched it once when
But
it first
baby,
came
but
out.
the one where the adults get changed and they go round because they were trying more CGI or the computer effects, it wasn't great. But once he disappeared from the limelight, and I was just like, oh shit, Rick Moranis.
It's
I remember
sad,
that
isn't it?
guy.
I'm like,
Where
that
the
guy
hell did
made
he
me
go?
laugh a lot.
You know?
Like, where'd he go?
Yeah.
Did he not come back for the Ghostbusters?
No,
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 yeah.
no,
I mean,
no.
this is the official coming
Yeah.
out of retirement kind of movie.
I
I would hope to see him in Ghostbusters, but I'm not holding my
I
breath.
honestly think, and being my personal opinion, truthful here, I think it's gotten to that stage now where his children have grown up.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, Dad, get a fucking real job.
Get a life. Yeah,
You know,
go
get
do
out of
something.
here. And he's like, oh, well, the only thing I was ever good at was acting. They're like, right,
Do that.
do that. Do you want to do a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie? And this is like, remake! You know, we're going to have a, Little Shop of Horrors remake. We'll have a Parenthood remake.
Spaceball sequel.
Spaceballs. Oh, on it. Spaceballs. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It kind of came out of the blue, didn't it?
Yeah.
Just like one day it was on the news, like, Rick
Yeah.
Moranis is coming back. Oh,
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of comebacks, Lethal Weapon 5 looks incredibly likely as Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, and Richard Donner are all signed up. Producer Dan Lin has just said, we're trying to make the last Lethal Weapon movie.
Lethal Weapon 5.
Well, I mean, when it is, it will
chapter.
be the last. But he says the original cast all back, and he said it's amazing, and the story itself is very personal to Donner, the director. Mel and Danny are ready to go, so it's now just about finishing the script.
So,
Cuts as many sugar tits out of the script as possible. Jeez.
I mean, what is it? They ended the last one where Riggs was a dad again and was
Yeah.
married to Lorna.
Yeah.
And
Jet Li's
Roger
not coming
was a
back.
new. No, he's not coming back.
Chris Rock, yeah.
Chris Rock's got to
could
come
come-
back. Joe
Chris-
Pesci's got to come back.
Yeah. Oh, he's
imagine-
Dodo.
Imagine
I know.
Lethal Weapon 5 cross Saw. Where Butters the cop, he loses his wife and goes on a mad jigsaw thing, but then Mel Gibson and Danny Glover start to hunt him down.
You just know they're going to throw in, I'm too old for this shit. And it's just going to be so cringe.
Well, because it really will be too old now.
Yeah, well,
It's
we're
too
get
old
it.
for this sequel.
Dude, we're going to be saying the same thing, The film will start, we're below, we're 12 for this shit.
So I got a news drop for you, and this was probably one of the biggest ones of the year so
Okay.
far for us as film fans.
Right, okay.
The Thing remake, or the new
Oh,
Thing
yeah.
prequel,
The
or the new
novella.
Thing adaptation, or
Yeah.
imitation.
Imitation.
Yeah. So as it is, so both The Thing from Another World
Yeah.
and John Carpenter's The Thing
Yeah.
movies are adaptations of John W. Campbell Jr.'s novella,
Yeah.
Who Goes There? But now that story is extended in the story Frozen Hell,
Right.
which was just unearthed and only published in 2018
I need to wiki this one.
as the original story. As it was too long for publication at the time, it was abridged to what we know.
Yeah.
And so as soon as this became apparent, Universal Studios have grabbed the rights to make the movie adaptation of the now complete story of The Thing. They've gone to Blumhouse Productions to make the movie, and of course, if you're aware of them, they did Paranormal Activity, Split, Insidious, Sinister, Halloween, and one of my favourite movies, Whiplash.
Halloween was good.
Is that the drumming movie?
Drumming movie.
The drummer movie, yes.
Badass.
Yeah, that film was fantastic.
They have made a lot
Love that
of weird kind of
So, I mean, it's always horror, or it's always really dark drama. So,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's fine. I hope they have the budget, or at least enough budget.
What we're gonna get? I mean, because I've fucking researched the shit out of this fucking film for like my entire life, like from John Carpenter's all the way to the black and white, all the way up to the prequel. You know, I've read the Who Goes There story. I bought the Alan Dean Foster novelization of the film adaptation of John Carpenter's film. You know, got the comics from the comic. Basics are, you know, you get a group of scientists who unearth something in the Antarctic which starts to really mess with their human biology.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and with the Who Goes There, this was apparent. They have the blood sequence in there.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not as violent or scary as the
as Carpenter's.
As the Carpenter's one.
Yeah.
But it is, from an aspect of a human perspective, very dark.
The reality of it.
So if you like, spoilers, I suppose. You know, if they develop this film to the point where I feel the alien isn't real at the same time, like you don't see it. People start to go crazy and people just start to kill people. But it's kind of hinted at you that something might be wrong with Jane over there.
Yeah.
You know, she's been acting a bit funny.
Yeah.
So they beat the shit out of Jane with some pipes because she goes a bit crazy. But she's not...
Because that's the same thing to do.
Yeah, because that's the same thing. She could be an...
Poor Jane was the only sane one there.
She could be a terrible creature from another planet. You know, we got to
Yeah.
destroy her now before she does it. You know, that you could do that. And so at the end of the 2 hours, you could be like, that's not as good as John Carpenter's, but for a whole different reason, it is actually better.
Well, I mean, it's official that it's going ahead. Producer Alan Dones has been tweeting about it, saying it's official. I've got my signed contract and his first check.
What's Alan Don's done? Do we know?
I looked him up and didn't see anything.
Oh, right,
so I'm just like,
fresh.
Yeah, he's a fresh Blumhouse person. So I'm just like, okay, you know, it's going to a fresh team, fresh talent.
See, I look at things like Sinister and Insidious, and I'm like, those are...
I was looking at Paranormal Activity and thinking it's all going to be on like security
Right.
Well, that would mix that in, that'd be great.
I know it's going to have a Blumhouse budget, which, you know, they're going to have to work with it. I think after seeing The Colour Out of Space, there's no reason why they can't have good practical effects if they go that way. Right now, I'm just like, it's a remake of The Thing. I'm like, you're never going to take John Carpenter's The Thing away from me or anyone else who loves it as much as we do.
Yeah.
Like, it's there.
Yeah.
Remake it, sequelize it. I'm like, our original John Carpenter's The Thing.
That's right there.
It's not going to be touched. Having this expanded extra story that John Carpenter wasn't privy to, I'm like, that's fine. Like, just make that then. That's still not John Carpenter's The Thing. You're making this. So it's, you know, it's like all of the variations of, you know, the H.P. Lovecraft adaptations, and it's like each one, take it as it is.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty to do there.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe we'll just wait here. See what happens.
We're gonna wait to hear, wouldn't it? I'm not gonna spend this whole winter tied to this fucking couch.
Also, Anaconda's getting a remake.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Sony wants to cash in on the whole Meg thing of last summer or the other summer.
Giant snakes.
And it's like, yeah, giant snakes next summer.
But didn't that leave a bad taste in everybody's mouth?
Anaconda 1's not bad.
No, Meg.
Meg was fine. I went in wanting to watch Jason Statham punch a giant shark, and he did. So I was like, I got what I wanted.
Yeah, I need to watch it again.
So now I just want to see whoever they cast. I don't know. Ride the snake.
Ice Cube.
I want to slap a saddle on it and ride the snake through the Amazon forest.
Man, Owen Wilson was in that first one.
Owen Wilson, Carrie Ware,
Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez looks nothing like she does.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, John Voight as well.
John Voight, yeah. Of course, the famous melting sequence where he's half digested.
David Hasselhoff was in like the third one, I think.
Jeez. Well, that's the end of the news segment, but we've got a couple of trailers to go over before we take a quick break. First trailer on the agenda is Spiral from the Book of Saw. A sadistic mastermind unleashes a twisted form of justice in Spiral, the terrifying new chapter from the Book of Saw. It's from the director who directed Saw 2, 3, and 4.
No, oh, nice.
Darren Lynn Boseman.
Yeah.
And this one's starring Samuel Jackson, Chris Rock, and Marisol Nichols.
Didn't Chris Rock write it? Or didn't he have some?
Chris Rock was the one who had the story concept and just went, make this.
Yeah.
You've got to make this.
He's had a lot of input in it. I heard it drop. It's just like Chris Rock's doing Saw, and I'm like,
yeah, that's
really?
the first thing I heard about it.
I was like, what? And then part of me went fan base. Like, what if Chris Rock is a fan of the Saw series like me and has been following it and went and watched the last one and went, we can do better. I've got this concept because he is good, right? He had his own TV show on him.
But it was the same with Halloween with
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride.
Yeah.
And just like comedians coming in, fucking
the
kicking ass.
The trailer dropped, and I'm like, I'm kind of behind this, and that I may be massively biased on this because I love Saw. Fucking
sure,
love it. But the fact is, well, you just said the director of 2, 3, and 4. Now, those are kind of pinnacle movies in the series.
My favourite ones actually.
The second one could have flopped. Third one is a twist when they kill him, and then you're like, well, how does it kind of carry on, especially into the fourth one? So there's like a, the director's like, I've got this story arc.
Yeah, that was my favourite part of that.
Yeah, and there were
because I'll be honest, I didn't like Saw. I still don't like Saw.
You didn't.
The first one. It's because I didn't like the I don't want to say the amateur level. It felt independent. It was it was the camera work and the editing, which was so frenetic.
Yeah,
I just got sick of looking at my TV screen, not because of the horrific imagery, but just because of the fucking shaking, which they toned down in the sequels. Which I really enjoyed.
But the story was developing through those movies that I was just like, why aren't people watching this? This is the best story ever. And it's just torture porn, people dying. Like, I remember that one time where the guy gets squashed by the room, and you're like, dude, I have no idea what happened at the end of that movie. Who lived and who died? And then you had to wait for the next movie for it to open. As soon as that movie ended, you're like, oh, right. So I'm all over that. And Chris Rock. Good.
Hell
Samuel Jackson's fucking in it.
Right.
Samuel Jackson's in it. Like, done.
Sold.
Yeah.
Next trailer is Vivarium.
Yeah.
It's a very odd looking film. Looks great. Really interested. It's a supernatural. It seems supernatural. It's.
It seems very Twilight.
How to describe it? It's basically a young couple are looking for the perfect home, but find themselves trapped in a mysterious labyrinth-like neighborhood where every house is identical to the last one, to the point where they're kind of driving around and they're like, we can't even leave. Like, well, let's take every left turn, and you're still just driving down the same street because it's identical, one after the other. And then they're trapped there for however long a period of time.
Yeah.
It's like a feature-length Twilight episode, So,
Twilight Zone, Gary, not Twilight Vampires.
Yeah. Outer Limits.
Man, Imogen Poots.
Yeah.
Oh, she's brilliant. I mean, I always remember her from Green Room when she pulls out that little knife and then she just slices that guy right at the belly. Jesse Eisenberg, he's awkward for me. Like him in Zombieland.
Yeah.
Didn't like him in Justice League.
Right.
Didn't like him in Social Network. Didn't like him in Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
Didn't like him in that film with the Twilight girl.
Kirsten Dunst. No, not Kirsten Dunst. Fucking Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know it.
I can't remember
exactly.
What it was called, but it was rubbish.
Another Jesse Eisenberg movie where I'm like, oh, he's in it again. I'm not watching that. But
Social Network was good.
Social Network was great. It's a David Fincher movie, so it gets my approval.
But then this came out, and I'm like, you know what? I'm happy to watch you in this. I really am. I watched the trailer, and for some reason,
it's the story that's interesting.
I get a big Midsummer Mother kind of feel from the trailer. But
especially with the music.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm going to wiki the shit out of it.
Sure. Yeah. But spoil the surprise.
Actually, before we go into the last trailer we got, I do want to bring up a movie that I did wiki, but I saw the trailer for, and I'm surprised it's not out yet for everybody to watch. Is that Twilight girl Kirsten Stewart's underwater movie where she's underneath the sea? I can't remember what it's called, and it's something underwater.
Underwater?
Yeah.
Underwater Twilight.
Let's just go with underwater Twilight. Kirsten Stewart, she's she's trapped in this like oil rig under the sea, and it's something is devastating. So it initially for the trailer, I got a big kind of disaster movie. Because she has this whole look as a mechanic.
If it's the film I'm thinking of, I saw a glimpse of it and went, oh, that looks a little bit Abyss, a little bit Alien,
yes,
a little bit Life.
Yes.
I'm going to put that away for later.
Well, that was it from the trailer. I was just like,
I didn't see the trailer because I was like, I just want to go in
this, and then I wikied it like I always do, and I was just like, oh my god, that's a really good Kristen Stewart movie that we all need to watch
because there is one now.
Don't watch Charlie's Angels or Twilight or anything like that.
American Ultra. That was the Jesse Eisenberg.
He was the special agent, wasn't he? So yeah, next trailer, go.
And the last trailer I have for us is the French Dispatch.
Yes.
And it's apparently a love letter to journalists set in an outpost of an American newspaper in a fictional 20th century French city that brings to life a collection of stories published in the French Dispatch magazine. This is from director Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
And as soon as I go, it's a Wes Anderson film, I'm like, seal of approval, go watch it. At least 8 out of 10.
At least 8 out of 10.
It's a Wes Anderson movie. It fits in the lexicon of Wes Anderson movies.
Every actor.
You could layer them like on any given day, any order you structure your favorite Wes Anderson movie. It's like,
Fantastic Mr. Fox is amazing. I love that. I love Fantastic Mr.
Island
Fox.
of Dogs, it was great too.
Fucking Steve Zissou.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Hotel one?
The Marigold? No, not Marigold Hotel. Fucking the Grand Budapest.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that one yet, but
that
I
was
just
great.
know it's good.
It's Wes Anderson, yeah.
But with this one, you watch the trailer, and if you're a Wes Anderson fan, it's every actor or actress who's been in a Wes Anderson movie
ever.
Yeah. Plus more.
Plus new faces, yeah.
Everybody just seems to be working on like 10th gear. Benicio del Toro looked brilliant. Fucking Adrian Brody looked brilliant. Bill Murray looked brilliant. Cerise Ronan looked brilliant. I'm just ticking fucking everybody off. Tilda Swinton, she looks brilliant.
Owen Wilson
looks brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything from Wes Anderson? Do you like Wes Anderson, Dave?
Yeah, I really like Royal Tenenbaums.
That was the one that made me go, oh, I don't know if I like this director. Like literally, I was just like,
Gene Hackman though is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I think it was more what's he called? Something about Mary guy.
Oh, Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller. That I'm still just like, do I like him? Don't I like him?
Moonshine Kingdom. Love Moonshine Kingdom.
Sure.
Fucking just a love.
He did
story.
Rushmore, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, I like Rushmore as well.
Yeah, I like Rushmore. Yeah, very good.
Bill Murray.
Yeah. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of the first part of the podcast. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back momentarily to discuss manga and anime. And not the top 5 Adam Sandler movies.
Fist bumps. You got pause.
Oh, it's a new system now, so now
we don't know how to
where
pause
I figure out how to do shit.
So you don't want to end it, but you want to. Where's the audio?
Oh, I think it should be here, but this is taking it up, so.
So sallow.
Just look really awkwardly at the camera.
So sallow. 120 Days of Sodom. I mean, did you learn anything?
I jacked off to it.
Oh God! No.
That's why you felt uncomfortable because Tamar walked in on you.
Yeah, exactly. I had to clean up.
Nice. I'm wondering if he's fatty. You fatty yet?
No,
going for it. Right, okay.
Like the only option I have really is to like turn off the stream, and I'm like, there's no other option.
What's the microphone up there underneath the play? Down halfway of the screen. Up a bit. Up. Move down. Up. Turn to the left. There. So mute event sounds.
Oh, there's no event sounds anyway.
Oh, okay, right. So
that would be annoying as balls.
That really would be.
Yeah. Should I check YouTube, see what's happening?
Check with YouTube, see what's happening, man. Spent the last 2 days trying to work this, guys. You learn?
I figured it.
He's found it.
Alright, we're taking a quick break. He's addicted. He's an addict. Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Robot has some crazy visuals, crazy
so
moments.
good. It just every now and then it'll just kick you, just like twist. I was like, what the fuck?
Actually, yeah, he was a hacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
See, I mean,
Exercise.
Mr. Robot was
Don't
first
spoil it
sold
for
to
me,
me.
you know.
Like-
He's a hacker. Yeah, he's a.
Because
That's why Tamar wouldn't watch it, because she couldn't give two shits about. Like,
yeah, I wasn't
all the-
too fussed about hackers, and somebody sold it to me by going, "Oh, he's a hacker," and he goes and exposes people's.
We got feedback.
Oh, oh, I think that's because the live stream is visible on. So
Oh, it's
yeah,
back.
Oh, okay. Weird.
yeah, playback. Where was I?
Mr. Robot, he was sold to you as a hacker, and that's why you
Yeah,
didn't
and
watch it.
like people said, like he basically goes and hacks people and exposes them for corruption and the wrongdoings, and
Yeah.
like in the first episode, he exposes like it's a
Paedophile.
paedophile. So I was like, oh,
Harvey
that's it. So
Weinstein.
like every other episode or so,
Yeah.
he's going to go
Yeah.
go and expose somebody publicly
yeah,
or
it's
threaten
very
them. But it was like, no, it's not.
Well, he does it in
WikiLeaks
season
kind
4,
of.
the first episode with
Yeah,
what's he called? Son.
it's Jake Busey.
Yeah, Jake.
Yeah.
Busey.
Jake Busey,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, when Jake Busey turns up, I'm always like, something about the Buseys.
Yeah. Just that smile.
Yeah, it's the smile, it's the two.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm just thinking about that bit now. Sorry, Point Break.
Frighteners or
No,
Starship
in
Troopers?
Point
Oh,
Break.
you got
in
Nick
Point
Gary
Break,
Busey.
where Gary Busey's run down his steps and he's stopped by Keanu Reeves. He's like, "Hey, did 2 kids come running past here with a stereo?" Sorry, and he goes running off. Yeah.
All right.
Predator 2. It's down to you and me. Can't go home now. Where does the top of his body go? When he takes the disc, his legs fall down, but where's
Yeah.
the top of his body?
I love that. I love that shot though. I always
Yeah.
love that shot.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on. We've got a podcast to do. We're talking
Oh, yeah,
about
we
Predator 2.
did. Yeah, could easily.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
You're on it, Dave.
Just before I begin, I'm just going to see a quick message there from Chris, not you.
Hey, Chris, not you.
He says, "Hey guys, I just want to say you were great and I love your reviews. Currently watching your playlist and it's called The Ground." Well, huh? Was that a film we
it's
mentioned?
called The Ground. Lol.
I'm glad you're enjoying the content, Chris. That's awesome. I'm not quite sure.
Watching your playlist. Have you done a film called The Ground?
No.
No, did the gate.
Like, it's probably something we've been talking about. and,
Probably, yeah.
Like, we're like looking at
We
it.
called it something different.
Cheers, Chris.
Cheers, Chris. Anyway, and welcome back to part 2 of the podcast, where we're going to be talking about anime and manga. There's 2 things that I don't know that much about. That's why we have our friend Dave with us today to kind of lead this conversation. But I just want to start off by saying what actual, the Wikipedia definition of anime and manga is.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah.
The word anime, pronounced kind of that way, is the Japanese term for all of animation,
Yeah.
which means all things animated in Japan.
Yes. Yeah.
Outside Japan, anime refers specifically to animation from Japan. And
Yeah.
Japanese anime is often characterized by being really colourful, with really vibrant characters and lots of fantastical themes.
Yeah. Yes.
And the manga is, in Japan, is used to refer to both comics and cartooning. And outside Japan, the word is used to refer to comics originally published in Japan.
Yeah.
But Westerners commonly call Japanese anime manga, which is why it gets a little bit confusing. But those are the definitions. But when you say anime or manga, people usually get an idea of where you're coming from. It's usually when you mention hentai that they go, "Ah."
We've gone there already. It's like 2 minutes into the chat. We've gone to hentai.
Well, if we were doing a hentai podcast, I'd be able to...
Oh, yeah. We'll be all over that.
Manga. So, in Japan, people of all ages read manga. The medium includes works in a broad range of genres: action, adventure, business and commerce, comedy, detective drama, historical, horror, mystery, romance, science fiction, fantasy, erotica, sports and games, and suspense, among many, many others.
Erotica.
Hey. And my first introduction to Japanese anime manga was Akira. I think it was for a lot of Westerners, especially around our age. When Akira arrived, it was a landmark event in discovering what was capable outside of UK and American animation. You go from Disney movies and anime movies to Akira. Your mind is blown.
I mean, Akira was huge in the West, but it didn't actually do that well in Japan.
What, the animated film?
The film, it didn't actually make a lot of money there. But
the manga itself was already popular enough.
Oh yeah, the manga did really well, but the anime, it was like the most expensive film at the time in Japan. And
they'd cut out a lot of Akira's story padding that had kept the comics alive in Japan, and they'd set this whole massive series that when they're like, okay, we're gonna stick this into a film and try to sell it to Western audiences, because the culture itself kind of encloses their anime to themselves. That's what I felt when I was growing up. I'm a massive cartoon fan, comic book fan. Hadn't ever heard of anything like this before until, like I said, Akira, or like those films that they used to show on Channel 4 at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Where giant robots, giant monsters just smashing, and then all of a sudden you find it out that it's based on a comic book series that you're never going to ever see.
Before I chuck it over to you, Dave, there was one other introduction I had as a young child, being exposed to this foreign animation style. I think it's got like 3 different names, and it's like Space Skeeters or Force 5. It was, I had it on VHS tape, and it had 3 episodes of like a 28 or a 48 kind of episodes in this animation, and it was about 3 protectors of this princess, and they had to basically get her to the center of the universe to restore balance and protect her. And obviously there's a one of the protectors falls in love with her. But
wasn't it called? Oh no.
But there's like the energy is polluting and corrupting all the animals in the universe and turning them hostile. So you have space battles and land battles, and these guys are kind of like your MacGyver kind of super soldiers with their different weapons. Very bizarre. And once I had that tape, it was just like, where is this on TV? Like, I want to see the next episode. Never. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was on YouTube just trying to find it, and I could only find just the Japanese with no dubs, no subtitles. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, but you're still watching the animation, like.
I was still watching it, just like, wow, the nostalgia. I was trying to find the episodes I had.
Yeah.
And it was, I looked on Amazon, and I could buy the VHS tape, but it was out of stock. And it was called something like Sci-Fi Bots Volume 2. Like, that was how it was sold over here. And I'm like, but that's not even the name of the show. It's like, oh.
Yeah, they did a lot. Like, I'm just going to go for a brief history.
Sure.
From Japan, but then it's mainly going to be about sort of the UK take on Sci.
Yeah.
Because that's what I know the most about.
Sure,
But I mean, it was Akira that sort of brought it all over to the UK. Before that, it was sort of American Japanese collaborations.
Yeah.
So you had Transformers.
Yeah.
You had D'Artagnan and the Three Musketeers. Musker Hounds.
Yeah.
Thundercats, Jason the Wheeled Warriors.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jason.
So basically, Japan would animate it. We'd get over here. We'd dub it.
Yeah.
We'd put it on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of saw that with Power Rangers.
Yeah.
All right. So looking back at the history, basically there was a earthquake in, I think it was the 20s in Japan.
Yeah.
Which pretty much destroyed most.
I'm surprised Japan's still there, to be honest.
But that destroyed like a lot of sort of the classic and sort of historic animated films and shorts they had.
Yeah.
And then they would mainly just be Japanese propaganda. Like,
right.
Yeah, because it's
up
wartime,
to the wartime.
wasn't it?
Like the first main animated film, which you can still watch, was called Divine Sea Warriors, and it was funded by the Japanese Navy. And like, look-wise, think sort of Steamboat Willie.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It was still that kind of animation, but like super hate the Americans kind of thing.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Then it went to Haku Jaden, the first color animated film, 1958.
Yeah.
But the boom began in the 60s with Osamu Tezuka's work. He created Astro Boy.
Okay.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
And most people, I mean, there was a CG film that came out. My daughter loved it for some reason. Had Nick Cage in it as a voice actor, so that was fine by me. But about a little robot boy.
Yeah.
But still, like, you can kind of sort of see that early era Disney TV cartoon, like Mickey Mouse style, like the big eyes, the sort of
Yeah.
like Betty Boop kind of animation.
Sure. So kind of sketchy.
But just after that, it was the mecha anime started with like Tetsujin 28, which is like your kids piloting your robots.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Turned into your you got boomed up to your like your Voltrons.
Yeah, that would.
Your, what's the bird ones? Is it Battle of the Planets?
Battle of the Planets, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it was called something else over here, I think.
It's Battle
Anyway.
of the Planets, man.
And then 65, it was Osamu Tezuka's feature film. Was it Kimba the White Lion, which by all bases is the Lion King. It's the same story,
Yeah.
Right.
but like 30 years before.
Before the Lion King. Sure.
But you know, and then you had like Sally the Witch, which was your
Is this Pretty Sabrina?
pretty much it was like your Sailor Moon, your sort of magical little girls.
Yeah.
Which, you know, for your kids' TV in Japan, basically.
Yeah.
Something inspiring for the girls. And then you'd have like Ashita no Joe, like boxing anime, which would start the sporting craze. So like the
Yeah.
60s was huge for like all the themes that are still going today.
Yeah.
Everybody was finding money in drawing in Japan at the time, just like.
Well, it's the fact that manga is like a cultural thing in Japan. Where,
Yeah.
like I said, people of every age bracket read manga in Japan.
Yeah.
It's you don't see that over here really.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, like over here, like I love the fact that with our comic books, you know, you were kind of sold a certain thing. You were into your football, you know, your football magazines or your army magazines, you know, and if you were reading like comic books, they had to be kind of super serious. If you started getting into like you know your X-Men and your Spider-Man, you know, at a certain age you were supposed to get rid of them.
Well, yeah, I had trouble because I started with 2000 AD.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really get into Spider-Man and
But 2000 AD kind
the
of
actual comics.
blew me away.
I felt so naughty with 2000.
Yeah,
I was
Yeah,
It's very
that's
adult.
because the back of those magazines were full of naughty adverts.
Well, my nan bought me a classic Dread comic when I was
Yeah.
about 7, and it was black and white, but it was super violent. Yeah. I shouldn't have been reading it.
Kills like 4 people, but why not? If you're reading like war comic books, you know that's what you're seeing.
Yeah, I
It's
used to
ju-
get like
but
the
it was
Commando
fact-
little digest.
It's the fact of what Judge Dredd looked like, you know, and the elaborate costume and things like that. When I finally got to saw manga and anime over here back in the 90s, I'm like, where has this been all my life? You know, and then realizing how far it goes back, you know, like with some of the ones you said, like Kimber the Lion, yeah, they're going to remake it 30 years later, but the animation at the time of somebody doing it with this great story of, I'm guessing, you know, a prince and his dad dies, gets killed by his brother, and he meets up with a warthog and a meerkat and probably gets together. You know?
But then we went on to the 70s, and there's like a lot of big franchises. You had Lupin the Third,
Right.
which I don't know if you've ever seen like
I'll say something if you mention something that I'm aware of. I will chime in. Otherwise, it's all you, Dave.
Lupin the Third would be in Hayao Miyazaki's first animated film, Castle of Cagliostro.
Ah, yes, I've seen that one.
So you probably recognise the characters. I mean, they've been going for
Okay.
what,
They're just 2 investigators.
50 years now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you had Space Battleship Yamato.
Yes,
Yes.
me and Ian are aware of that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I recently watched
And-
Midway actually, and
Yeah.
the Yamato was there. It was the biggest ship.
Nice.
And that would start your space operas.
Yes,
Which there was a lot of, with like Space Captain Harlock. And then you had the Juggernaut Mobile Suit Gundam by the late 70s. Something that still goes today. I mean,
this is the age of Star Wars and Alien
exactly.
now, so it's
I mean, that would bring over like the kits. You ever like see those crazy plastic kits you could build
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
paint.
Build the robots.
I could never do it. I could never do it. Then you had Galaxy Express 999. And then in 1979, Hayao Miyazaki would make his first animated feature film, and I don't think anything happened to him after that. No, you don't hear Miyazaki's name anymore.
No, of course not.
And then in the 80s, you had your big series like Urusei Yatsura, and you had Macross.
Macross, yes.
Macross, like, we didn't get it in the UK until VHS.
Right.
We never got on TV, but America did, because Harmony Gold, like a lot of companies, bought the rights, and we're like, well, we've got a show here. We've got a 40-episode series. We could stick straight on TV, but it's a bit violent. So let's take out the blood. Let's
Repackage it.
Let's change the names because these names sound a bit funny. Let's change everyone to, I don't know, Bill and.
Yeah, keep it simple.
We'll change the stories, and like with Macross, it took 3 complete different series, and then slammed them together and like made up a story connecting them. But like it made them a lot of money, and you can't really blame them. It's like we got nearly 100 episodes here, cheap.
Yeah.
We'll just make our own thing.
See, it's a great example, Macross, of just how they were never able to sell it outside of Japan. It's you got all these comics and all these great animations, but they're so culturally set. You have to try and sell it now to the rest of the world. And obviously what we're saying, what year was that? 1970 or 1980s? Was it?
Yeah, this was like 1982.
So like over here, we were kind of really. Well, I was born then, actually, 1982. So, yeah, we were mid-revolution at that point, giving us a violent TV show where people were flying around and beating the crap out of each other. Blood in the streets, so...
But the year after is when the US would start working more with Japan, and they made G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Which, it was called something else in the UK.
Action Force.
Action Force, yeah.
Action Force would be Cobra the enemy.
I never saw it, but I had a bedspread of it. So I always had this giant
Action
war
Force,
scene.
yeah.
Man, I had one VHS, and just like with Gary, I wore that VHS out. It had 2 adventures on it, and I'm like, why am I not being bought these toys? And my mum was just like, oh, it's just a craze,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, shut up, buy me more Ghostbusters, buy me more Turtles,
1984 Studio Gainax was created, and the same year the martial arts genre was formed with Dragon Ball.
Oh, now this one is.
I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah. And all its creations. And did you ever see the live action film?
Yes,
These
yes,
days?
I have. I watch that film kind of religiously whenever it's on TV because I like to remind myself how terrible things can get. Just like Dragon Ball was shown over here. Dragon Ball Z was shown over here. On I think Cartoon Network or like the Sky iteration of a kids show, kids channel, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to keep watching this, because this is exactly everything I love. This is manga anime. I've never seen these. These guys are flying around on clouds and shooting each other with lasers and blowing each other up, and it was violent for violence, for a kids show like Turtles and Thundercats, but then I didn't have the chance to watch it, and then realizing when you go to watch it, and people are like, oh, "That's not the original iteration." There's a whole series before that. I'm like, oh, fuck! It's one of those things, isn't it? It's one of those things that's been kept hidden from me for like 20 goddamn years, and now I've got to go back. And I tried to. Well, I got through it, but I tried to sit down with Dylan to watch Dragon Ball as we started off. Father-son moment. Sit in bed at night, watch some cartoons. Start watching Dragon Ball. And thought I'd be the best man of go complete original Japanese, but with English dubbing because he's like 5 at the time. And there's a sequence where Goku, I think it's Goku, main guy. Yeah. Gohan's the kid. You gotta remember Piccolo and all that. Goku is a little boy in the original Dragon Ball series, and it's based on the monkey Journey to the West. So he's got a tail and a stick and a cloud. And later on, he'll become an alien from outer space at the time it's exploded, and he'll have superpowers. But
The sci-fi thing that I mentioned earlier is based on the monkey story
Yeah.
as well.
Everything's
yes.
based on monkey.
yeah, everything. But
Odyssey to the West.
Monkey magic.
great sage, king of heaven. Anyway, he wakes up in bed with a female character, right? Because they're sharing a
Jumping
bed
onto
on
erotic already.
Yeah.
right? But I'm watching this, this is supposed to be like a kind of a kid's show, and he opens up the sheet, looks at her pants, and kind of weirdly questions why she doesn't have the same thing as him. Because he's been raised by his grandfather the whole time. He slaps the front of her pants, man.
Ooh.
He slaps the front of her pants, and she wakes up, and they do have a little brief conversation about why she doesn't have a penis. And she's like, because I'm a girl. And he's like, okay. And they carry on with their fucking adventure. And I'm lying there in bed watching this thing with Dylan.
No, we sorted that out. It could have been
You know what,
You
complicated.
don't need to have to talk now. You just later.
Like, the Japanese are like, ready to
Well,
go.
the Japanese are not perverted at all.
But yeah, no, Dragon Ball is amazing. I love Dragon Ball.
Same year, Nausicaa Valley of the Wind came out.
Love Nausicaa.
That was a huge popular hit by Miyazaki as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the year after was the boom of the OVAs.
Yes.
What the OVA?
OVA
Is
is
it original video animation?
animation,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Animation.
because the films are getting more and more expensive, and time
Yeah.
to hand animate.
They're independent films as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
Mostly, yeah.
and or you had the TV series, which is like 24 episodes, which is time consuming and expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And-
with
and-
OVAs, they could make like a two-parter or a three-parter, sort of ranging between 30 and 45 minutes. Basically, get it out there as a test. Like,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
people
Is there
like
an
this?
audience? Yeah.
We can make a TV series.
Nice.
Now that's what the UK would get, mainly OVAs
Yeah.
in the 90s. But this is where it sort of started in the 85s, and it was hugely popular. Then Gainax will make his first film, which is Royal Space Force Wings of Hominies, which was a massive flop, but one of the most expensive animated films. It's basically like it's set on it's on an alien world, but it's basically like our world. So basically, like humans are sort of technology, and it's about the first space race on that planet.
Right.
Okay.
But it was again a bomb. It
What's
would
the
later
title
come
again?
on. Royal Space Force Wings of Honemies?
How the hell do you sell that? It's like, right, do you want to go see Star Wars, or do you want to go see Royal Singers of the Common Hominas? Nah, Star Wars.
Well, Asian audiences don't really particularly like Star Wars, so
So that was a huge bomb. And then 88, the year after, is when Akira came out.
Yeah.
And that was Japan's most expensive animated film, and they both failed. So, like, it really stifled anime.
Yeah.
And then 88, Gunbuster from Gainax, which is one of my favourites. It's basically these girls are training to use these like mecha robots, and
Nice.
there's an invasion coming to Earth, and they've got to train them up and send them out to kill them. And the animation is phenomenal. It was an OVA, I think, 6 episodes.
right.
But basically, with that, they would work on Neon Genesis.
Okay, Neon Genesis I'm aware of, yeah.
But without it, they wouldn't have that. Then 88 was Grave of the Fireflies
Oh.
and My Neighbor
Totoro. Yes, love
Studio
Totoro.
Gimli. I absolutely love that studio.
I've
Like,
never had a bad time with Studio Gimli now.
No.
I haven't watched The Wind Rises, the newest one.
I haven't either.
Well, you know it's
Yeah.
going to be good. It's just
Yeah.
you just need like 2 hours to sit down and watch Studio Gimli.
Sure.
But Grave of the Fireflies. I mean, 1988, like that film's still crushing, especially like after having kids. Like, it's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah, but
But it's amazing. But
it's absolutely amazing to watch.
the year after, Osamu Tezuka dies of stomach cancer. Which, like, he was the godfather of anime, basically, and he passed away. And then in the 90s, Japan would have a financial crash.
Right.
So, with the 2 big anime flops and a financial crash, it wouldn't be till like 93 with Dragon Ball Z where the sort of tide rises again.
Yeah.
And they can sort of get back to it. 95, a big release in Japan and in the West was Ghost in the Shell.
Very good.
Yes. Yeah. See, the weird thing is as well with Ghost in the Shell after the release of Akira, I thought Akira was amazing. You know, over here I thought it'd done really, really well, and then Ghost in the Shell came out, and I figured the same thing again. You know, I'm like, all right, here we go. Here's another big hit from Japanese anime manga. You know,
Right.
The story was a bit complex to get around, but after watching it the second time and playing the PlayStation 1 game that came out,
great.
yeah,
But
I was
yeah,
like, I totally get this whole hacking thing, you know, and it's the future, and they can just update the bodies and do whatever.
but it was based on the manga, which was
Yeah.
very cyberpunk. But the film was a very subtle and very different feel to the film, especially with like scenes where it would just be pure animation and music.
You're right.
But then the same year, Neon Genesis Evangelion, which would also create the otaku culture,
Which is
is basically people who get totally obsessed with anime end up being shut-ins.
cosplayers.
That's what it would come to be in America.
Yeah.
Basically, it was.
I thought it was incels.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, for those furries.
And, an incel furry.
Yeah,
What?
where do
No,
you, where do you
what?
go? Yeah.
That's a brony.
The next year, Sailor Moon, again, sort of massive. And then the year after, Princess Mononoke.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful
Class.
movie.
Yeah.
And that was the most successful film of the year.
Yeah. Princess Mononoke
It was the
beautiful.
biggest film of the year until Titanic came out that year.
Right. Yeah. Well, Titanic sat at the top for quite a while. I'd
Oh,
say.
yeah. But then the next year was Pokemon. Pokemon would come out.
And
Which-
Pokemon's still going.
It is still going. My kids still love it.
But how long?
How was
I mean,
Detective Pikachu? Did anybody see that?
Yeah, I went to the cinema.
I
Of course you
do
did.
actually want to watch it. I do like Pokemon. You know, being a manga anime fan from way back when Pokemon dropped, I was like, I want to get into this. I really do. But I live in a culture that everybody is going to shun me
I don't know,
and send me away. And Pokemon Stadium on the Nintendo 64 was awesome. When somebody picked a Pokemon and you counted them, they're like,
You can have your Pokemons. I'll keep me Tamagotchi.
oh man.
But that's the thing, I was majorly into anime at the time.
Yeah,
And then, but nobody else I knew was.
yeah.
Until my friend Craig came to school and he's like, have you checked out Pokemon? Like, it's anime. Like, oh. And then he showed it to me and all his cards and I was like, what the fuck is this
Yeah.
fucking baby food?
But then you get Digimon, and Digimon shows you that there's a whole war going on in Japan where they're creating different comics of different styles to battle each other, and you're like, it's a sales.
I just
market
can't see
here.
past just the money-making kind of
Exact-
machine that it is. Of
Mate,
like,
but it's always been there back in the day of Thundercats and G.I.
Oh, yeah.
Joe. You know, they make these comics, they make the films,
Yeah.
they make the characters, they make a whole culture of people who want to spike their hair up and carry huge swords around, and you know, where like we talk about Sailor Moon, like we're all being respectful, but you know, for 20 fucking years. Old men have been watching those skirts twirl, you know, and just get a little, you know, and it's like, there's a dark corner to everything, isn't there?
panties.
So then 97 Evangelion movie would come out.
Yeah.
Because Neon
saw-
Genesis, basically, they ran out of money by the end. And the ending was a mess.
Yeah.
And people hated it. He got death threats for it. And in the end, he's like, fine, I'll fucking make a movie. And
Fix all that.
Yeah.
and it was good. It was great. Same year, Perfect Blue came out. Have you ever seen Perfect Blue?
No.
Yeah, I've seen it.
No, I have.
Once,
I
think.
got the
borrowed it
Blu-ray.
from
I've
you.
actually got the Blu-ray.
Yeah, and it was slow.
I put a few in there that I think you might have heard of or watched.
Cool.
Yeah, it was more of a thriller, sort of
Yeah.
psychological thriller.
But I'd kind of been guilty of just focusing on, and I still do it now, just focusing on the anime I like, which is giant fucking explosions and robots and swords and crazy shit.
Yeah.
You know, like.
There was.
But then I get the Perfect Blue, and I'm like, this looks really nice, but nothing's happening.
It was a pretty average film, I think.
Yeah.
Blue. But there was something I wanted to quiz you about, Dave. You probably remember the name of it. I think it was around the time the PlayStation 2 came out, and it was I want to say Zone of the Enders. No,
that was the.
it was a Gundam type game, a spaceship man suit flying around, laser beams.
Gundam.
Yeah. Zone of the Enders.
Was it Zone of the Enders?
Yeah,
okay,
it was,
wow. Literally, as I was
game.
explaining it,
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much felt like.
It just felt very much like an anime.
Yeah, it was a young kid like being forced into this robot. Kind of did feel
like a
Neon
Yenga.
Genesis.
That's the arse,
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Then the year after would be Cowboy Bebop.
Right. Yeah.
Now
Big seller.
It wasn't in Japan. It actually got cancelled.
Again.
Yeah,
Japan, like,
Cowboy
this is
Bebop
shit.
had a ton of influence over Western culture and Western filmmakers.
Yeah.
And it is phenomenal. And this is what would start the second boom in the UK and
Yes.
in the West.
Cowboy Bebop was massive. Yeah.
Your show was inspired by it, wasn't it?
Firefly?
Nathan Fillion. Yeah, Firefly.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, there's so many writers, creators, producers, directors, all inspired by that. Just because the universe and the world that series created was so good. Yeah. Rich.
And then the year after, 1999, Disney brings over Princess Mononoke and all the other Studio Ghibli films.
Yeah, really opened the door to the West.
And then 2000,
Away.
2001, Spirited Away, the
God.
most successful Japanese film.
I think it's still. I mean, Spirited Away is like in my top 10. It's just. Oh, it's such a beautiful film.
Even the intro, just them driving up in the car, it's so brilliant.
It's so brilliant. The Japanese voice acting, the American dub acting, all of it just feels so right.
We watched Spirited Away. You and I watched Spirited Away together, and it was such a great moment. I'll always remember it because you'd always been so adamant of not liking kind of Japanese anime manga.
Well, that's because so much of it was just over the top, perverted nonsense.
And I was just like, oh man, I really want to get into this. And it felt like actually, like, living in Plymouth in the southwest, the asshole of nowhere. You know, the world finally goes, hey, look, we've got this Japanese anime movie called Spirited Away, and we sat there and watched it. And by the end of it, I was like, that's
have some culture, you animal.
I was like, it's probably the greatest movie ever. You know, still beautiful.
Absolutely loved it.
The next year, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex would come out, and then 2004, Ghost in the Shell 2 would come out.
Yeah,
and they were
again massive influences on us.
Yeah, and they were really big. And then the only main thing I've got after that is 2013 Attack on Titan.
Yes,
which thanks to online streaming, just went berserk. And
absolutely,
still I think
it's
most popular now.
Like I said, my knowledge of anime and manga is as limited as it is. I literally have one manga book, and it's Parasite. Right. Not based on the film that just came out, but you know the alien life form.
The one in the hand.
Yes, yeah, which is bizarre and interesting, and it's it was amazing because when I got the actual manga in my hands, you start from the back.
Yeah,
you read it backwards. I was just like, this is doing Ian Zedin because Ian always starts from the back.
Man, I love manga books. I'm like.
Yeah, no, but you always go to the back for the ending. But Ian's like,
what the fuck?
It's at the front now. I just literally open the page. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on here, but I can't wait to read this.
All right, so now talking about the UK. So Akira hit big here.
Yeah.
That would form the studio that released it would then call themselves Manga Entertainment.
Right. Yeah.
Which I think confuses Ian.
No, I put it all under one culture. You know, it says manga on it. It's an animation from Japan.
Fair enough, but with the success
How does that understand?
It was more of the success of Akira, the sort of cyberpunk sci-fi.
Yeah,
that's what they took from it, not like animation from Japan.
No,
right.
So they flooded the market with similar, OVAs. Basically, you got
Ninja Scroll and Street Fighter.
Well, I wouldn't say that's cyberpunk.
well, I was thinking cyberpunk.
But those were the big hits.
Well.
Cyber City 0808.
Cyber City. I watched that at 2:00 in the morning on Channel 4 back in the 90s, and like my mum would be like, "Why are you still up? You know, don't be watching TV all night." And I'm like, "I've got to watch Cyberpunk City 0808 because I have
you're never going to catch it again.
Never going to fucking catch it.
Internet.
Like, I didn't watch it, so they were watching at 2:00 in the morning, and then what would be annoying is like 2 weeks later, like you'd stay up and Channel 4's like, "Nah, we're not showing it anymore."
Yeah, right. But we had quite a few. You had like AD Police, you had Angel Cop.
Yeah.
The Bubblegum Crisis, Dominion Tank Police.
Dominion Tank
which I
Police.
love.
Dominion Tank Police. Total Metal Slug. You know, and then when we talk about like Astro Boy, you can just see Mega Man just being born from it, and you know, making the whole Mega Man movies as well.
So I fell in love basically through buying old Mega Drive magazines,
Okay.
and they would have adverts in it for
Games Master, Sega Power.
yeah, and they'd have adverts for the newest AD Vision,
Yeah.
which was another VHS company releasing anime over here, and it was just the look of the characters,
Yeah.
and I was just like, what is this? I need to
Right.
find out more.
Yeah.
But I was only about 9 at the time, and money was tight.
Yeah.
So I bought my first manga entertainment video, which was New Gal Force from. Remember the big game at the bottom of our town?
Yes.
They had the tiniest sliver of VHS
DVDs,
section.
Yeah. VHS section.
And I got that, and
Physical media.
within the first minute, there's a naked woman having a shower,
Yeah.
full on titties.
Yeah.
A 9-year-old watching this. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then, like, an alarm goes off, and then she says, shit, and then runs out and like, swear
This is a cartoon.
And yeah, it just,
Yeah.
it was kind of aimed at people like me. It's
Yeah.
just like,
See, around that time as well, there was just a. I mean, it's completely off, but it was, you know, it was dark and different from normal animation. That was Spawn, the
Yeah.
animated
Yes.
series,
Yeah, Todd
which came out
McFarlane's,
around
yeah.
that time. Todd McFarlane's, yeah, and you know, I was like one of the only other times where I was like, wow, there's just other types of animation that's adult,
Yeah.
that's not meant for kids. Although you're watching it as a kid.
yeah, exactly. And I was at the age where, like, I was supposed to stop watching kids' cartoons.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I
Yes.
didn't want to. Like, I'd still love Turtles at 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though
yeah.
it had fizzled out in sort of mainstream.
I still
Yeah.
revisit the real Ghostbusters cartoon, so yeah.
Exactly, but this was like, well, you know,
This-
here's your cartoons, but
Mhm.
nobody can tell you these are for kids.
No, no.
Yeah.
And we would get just endless, like, they would license anything with tits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swear. Well, no, there weren't much swearing in these films, but they would dub
Swearing
so
into
many
it.
swearing into it just to get it a 15 rating, an
Yeah.
18 rating, and then it would fly off the shelves because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Eurot Sekadoji.
Urotsukadoji. I bought that when I was
I-
12.
Legend of the
I
Overfiend.
think Urotsukadoji is the reason why the entire Western culture
Yeah.
sees Japan's anime as perverted nonsense.
I
Because
think it
that
was-
film, I don't know why, but almost everybody in Europe saw it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think
they
it was
were
the,
aware of it.
the
Yeah.
Daily Mail was banned this sick filth because they'd seen that.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's school kids getting raped.
By tentacle demons.
Yeah,
Yeah. But that is like that's the cliche now, isn't it? That's the trope of Japan.
But I got down when I was 12. I used to go to our city centre every Saturday
Yeah.
and troll all the second-hand shops because we had Virgin, we
Yeah.
had NVC, and we had HMV.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
And they all had their own little tiny anime section.
Yeah, yeah.
And usually they had different videos in each shop, but most were released with like one episode.
right.
So like new Dominion Tank Police, it was
Yeah.
I think 6 videos, one episode each, would last about 25 minutes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it would be like £14.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, of a single episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that.
I was a little kid with a paper round.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So it was
couldn't even-
one a fortnight.
Yeah, one a fortnight, exactly. So I
Yeah.
would go to the second-hand shops because every few weeks
I
someone
was
would
doing
have sold
that.
one.
I was doing that with Star Trek VHS.
Exactly.
2 episodes of VHS.
You'd scroll through the same old films every time, but every now and then there'll be like a new one. It's like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
And the guy at the second-hand shop was always like, "You 18?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, seeing as you're honest, here
Yeah.
you go."
Here you
That
go.
was brilliant.
Thank you. Hey, Mum, I brought you on Sikaduji. I'm going to take it round Gran's to watch.
Man.
Gran, watch the cartoon with me.
But I
Sorry.
still am tall, but like I was always way too tall for my age. So
Yeah.
at like 9 I could buy 12s. At
Yeah.
12 I was buying 15s.
15s, yeah.
And at 14 I was buying 18s.
Right.
And I like Ian used to see my wall of just crazy
Oh man,
VHS
when I came in your house that one time, like always been a fan of film and looking for people who are just as fan of me, and then walking into your place and just seeing wall to wall fucking Japanese, Chinese kung fu, Hong Kong cinema, manga, anime. You know, you're just like, hey, do you want to come in and chat with these girls and, you know, have a few drinks? I'm like, no,
I'm still going through this library.
You know, people are like, oh, he's such a nerd, and I'm like,
have you seen this shrine?
This is like I used to beg you some days, like, look, can you just give me them? You're not watching. You're like, no, I can't. I've got, you know,
it's
they're
rare.
part of my collection. I'm like, you're buying all these DVDs, but then you give me a few. Like I was looking through my collection before it came out, and I was just like, what have I got here? And you know, I've got my Fist of the North Star there. I've got my Ninja Scroll. I've got my AD Police, my Vampire Hunter D, my Golga 13. You know, I've got, like I said, I always had these specifics where, I would love to buy like whole series, but yeah, like you said, back in the day, and it's still the same now. They're so expensive, and there are so many of them that like I just have to go specific. But like I've got my Street Fighter 2 DVD, you know, released by Manga, one of the greatest adaptations of Street Fighter.
Because you see Chun-Li's tits.
Well, no, because it came out after the movie. So, you know, Jean-Claude Van Damme had completely ruined Street Fighter with, like, his performance. You know, Mortal Kombat was teetering. And you were crying out for the Japanese to do it because you knew it was going to be so good. So
I mean, that animated film was in every VHS rental.
Yeah.
Like, that would probably be the only anime title in that.
Sure.
In your blockbusters, in your
local
one.
But they got it right. They were just like, look, screw it. You know, M. Bison is a crazy teleporting motherfucker with special powers. I'm like, good. I like Raul Julia, but this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
They kind of, I did see after they tried to do the same thing with Tekken. They tried to make a manga anime with Tekken.
That one had the Offspring as the final credits.
Yeah, but they
it wasn't very good. It wasn't as good as Street Fighter.
They'd lost the dark grittiness, and that's what I always found worked well with Japanese animation was. Yeah, we like the dark grittiness. You know, the pushing the envelope just a little bit. You know,
yeah.
Like even up to now, I've not ever watched Attack on Titan.
Yeah, that's sort of like one of my talking points as Attack on Titan is because again that's like for me it's like the most modern Akira.
Yeah,
you know, in terms of a shockwave going across the planet of Attack on Titan is the anime to watch right now.
But there's a part of me there's a part of me that's just like don't watch the film, the episodes, read the comics. Because you know that's where it's originally.
I mean, it's an award-winning anime. It's every season's won awards.
Yeah.
It's beautifully drawn.
Yeah.
Music, voice acting. The story is compelling.
Yeah.
It's really good. It really is good.
It's the same thing with Joker for me. You know, I'm like, this thing is so good. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna be just like gushing all over it.
But there is one manga that I really want to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a quick break, Dave. I bring up Berserk.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking that guy. Actually, I was just thinking that guy.
Guts was introduced to me with the Sword of the Berserk.
Yeah.
On the Sega Dreamcast. That was my introduction to him. You know and it's a fucking nearly 7 foot tall guy.
Yeah.
With a 10-foot long sword.
That's a huge sword.
You know, and
it's like the blazer sword from Final Fantasy VII, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
just massive,
huge piece of metal on a stick.
Yeah, and it's set in a medieval Europe-inspired dark fantasy world.
Yeah,
and the story follows Guts, who's a lone mercenary, and Griffith, the leader of a mercenary band called the Band of the Hawk.
Yeah.
And the manga has been adapted into a 25-episode anime TV series covering the series Golden Age arc.
Yeah.
By Oriental Light and Magic, which aired from 1997 to 1998. There's a trilogy of films.
Yeah.
The Golden Age arc was released at the beginning of 2012. A second anime TV adaptation was broadcast in 2016 and 2017 and was utter fucking shit. But that makes it a total of 24 episodes, and as of January 2016, Berserk has sold over 40 million copies. Now, the story of Guts is shocking. Like It's one of the worst. One of the worst. Like this poor bastard. He is born from his mother, who is hung and dead, and he births out and collapses and is then taken by somebody. I think it's Gambino who raises him, but then Gambino gets sick of him and then puts him in a tent and sells him to passers-by to go in and rape him, whilst pre-teen Guts is abused, he's tortured, he's abandoned, he's orphaned. You know, this is just like the origin story of this guy who...
Batman's got shit on this guy.
Batman's got fuck all on Guts.
Batman's got fuck all to moan about.
I mean, even like the Dark Souls games have hinted at Guts. Like there's characters that are inspired by him. His weapons in the game. You know, and what I absolutely love about Berserk, obviously having the video game, having the animated films, I've never seen anything as striking and as vivid as the artwork in the manga.
Yeah.
I mean, it's black and white, but the sketch work and the artwork is so emotive, so detailed, so enriching that I'm just like, why is this not massive? It's cult.
Yeah.
And I accept that, but Guts is fucking amazing.
Man, I'm glad
it's so overlooked.
Because I've only ever watched one thing of Berserk, and it just got me immediately. Because I come back from playing games with you or something at 2:00 in the morning. You know, I've gone into the front room because I didn't want to go wake up Linda, and I'm like, I shouldn't be watching the TV, but you know, I'm just gonna flick through and just fall asleep to something. And got to the channel. Berserk had just started. The title on the channel just said Berserk. And I'm like, what's this? So I don't know what film it was, what episode it was, but literally it was like an hour and a half of him going around. He got into like 4 or 5 fights and beat the shit out of a bunch of people with his sword, you know, and there was a background story about him being a mercenary, and I was like, this is amazing.
It gets so dark. Like, I don't even want to... When the demons come into the world and start ravaging the land and doing horrific things to characters that you've really come to love, you're just like, God fucking damn, like, I'm gonna turn this page, I don't like what I'm going to see, you know. But that was Berserk. It was
I mean, that is pure 90s.
Yes, of course.
Mean,
before the Berserk story's not finished. If you're a fan of Berserk and never followed it,
it's still
like
going.
The word hiatus is you know, you're born to be patient, because the creator of Berserk just goes, yeah, I'm done for the next 5 years.
Yeah,
I'll be back then with the next chapter. See ya. It's like, what? Like, no. Sorry, Nick.
In the 90s, we got a lot of Yoshiaki Kawajiri stuff. Now, he did Ninja Scroll.
Yeah, I love Ninja Scroll.
Goku Midnight Eye, Vampire Hunter D.
Love Vampire Hunter D.
He did a Highlander. He did like the anime Highlander.
Love the animated Highlander. That was the TV show, and they weren't cutting each other's heads off. They just had to hold the sword and power each other up.
But it was always like Monster City, or I think it's called Demon City.
Oh yeah, is that the one with the cop where the woman turns into a spider thing, chases him?
Yes.
Yeah.
I always get confused between Monster City and Wicked City, which is another one of these.
Yes.
And that was weird. He had like a weird old man who was obsessed with prostitutes.
Yeah.
And then he ends up getting sucked into one. That was weird. But it was just extreme violent, like usually body horror.
Yes. Yeah. Mutilation.
Yeah.
Limbs flying off. Which brings me on to one of the other things that I was really exposed to as a young child. Violence Jack. I think we've mentioned it before. You know, Violence Jack is still banned in Australia.
Of course it is.
See, that is from the creators of Devilman.
Yes.
Right.
And it's basically, I think it takes place in the same world.
Yeah.
Like after Devilman wipes out the planet, then Violence Jack happens.
Yeah.
We watched the DVD where he's just underground.
He's buried under rubble.
You've got a group
until he's rescued.
You know, businessmen, and then you've got a group of women, and then you've got a group of like crazy men. And Violence Jack kills the crazy men, but then the men find the women because they've been so sex starved. They go on a rampage, and he just kills everything. And I was like, I knew what I was walking into. The title says Violence Jack, but why am I? Has
he got a giant switch knife or a giant knife as his weapon?
Yeah. And he just kills everyone with it.
Yeah, no one can touch him.
No.
But that would like remind me of Fist of the North Star. Have you ever seen?
Yes, yeah.
With Ken.
That had a reputation for being really gory, really violent.
I remember getting the VHS for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. Like, there was some weird, like, color censorship. Like, the color would go weird, sort of neon. It's like, whoa, what's happening there? But most of it was still in. It was usually like, he'd sort of jab someone in the head and then his head would swell and explode.
The animation for Fist of the North Star was sublime. That they tried to mass adapt it into the games, into live action movies, and they just could. You could never capture that the pureness of the story from it. So you always go back to the anime. And I bought the film. I have it on VHS, and then I just want to buy it again on DVD. But I've been so wanting to watch like the TV series because
they put that on Channel 4.
Yeah, the movie itself is obviously once again like Akira. They've taken the whole comic series and then squashed it all down. But then they over in Japan they adapt it again into a TV series over a long period, so you get the extension stuff. And he's just a badass.
Damn,
he's just gonna I'm just gonna walk through this building. And he literally walks up to people in episodes I watch on YouTube. I'm like, what's he doing today? He's walking up to a mad guy who's just cutting off civilians' heads, and he punches him.
And that says, "You're already
dead." He's literally, that's his tagline. But it focuses in on the chakra, kind of the energy. These guys are such amazing fighters that they use your own energy against you, and the pressure points and all that. And it's just you listen to the story and how intricate it can get. On top of the exploding heads and raping of blind women and stuff.
But that would get an American live action film. They went for a stage. They also did Crying Freeman.
Yeah.
Right.
That was
I think that's Mark Damask.
Yeah, it is.
Dacascos?
Which is, the anime is all about an assassin, but lots of sex, nudity, which the film had none of.
Yeah.
So it's like, what was the point? But yeah, this was my heyday, and it wasn't until I met Ian that I actually had someone who'd actually watched this stuff and I could actually talk to about.
Yeah.
I think. Did you ever watch Blood: The Last Vampire?
I did see that. I even saw the movie that came out 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Which wasn't.
Because I remember
great,
being in media studies
Yeah.
with you when that came out. I think they showed it on Channel 4. They premiered it there.
Yeah.
But in UK, it was the Sci-Fi Channel at midnight Saturdays.
Yeah.
They would show a lot of basically manga entertainment's releases.
Sure. Yeah.
And that was cool. Channel 4, like you said, they had 4 Later. I loved 4 Later.
Yeah.
It was like vids with Seth. And you also had Bits. You know that the girls doing the video game reviews.
No, I'm going to. I remember I drank.
Yeah, alright. But it was stuff out. Then they would show like martial art films in the original language and anime.
Yeah.
But then I fell off about mid 2000s when I had the internet. Basically, I had access to everything. Everything was getting fan subs.
Yeah.
But there was like 20 to 50 shows a week.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't keep up with any of it, and it all sorts of blended in together to me. I was just like, most of it was usually schoolgirls in school, sort of slice of life kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm in my approaching my 30s, I can't be watching this stuff anymore.
So, question for you then, David. If you were, you're a fan of film, you're a fan of animation, but you're not that aware of Japanese manga and anime, give me like 5 things to get into to get me into the whole. What would you give me?
Basically go for the mains. Your Neon Genesis, like it recently got brought back to, well, not brought back, but brought out on Netflix and sort of resurged interest in it, and it still holds up to this day, like even being 25 years old.
Yeah.
See, I think that's a real difficult question because for me, over the almost 40 odd years I've been alive, when you come to something like manga anime, it covers such a broad scope. I mean, you love your Studio Ghiblis.
Yeah.
So you're already in the door, and you watch your Violence Jack and your Fist of the North Star and your Ninja Scroll, much like me, you watch your specific, like what you said with when the internet came out. We didn't have access to this shit for like 20 years, and then all of a sudden it's like, here's the gates,
floodgates open.
here's the gates of the kingdom, and we were just so overwhelmed by everything that we were like, no, that's enough. Close the doors, lock it up. You know, and
Roshikadoju fell out there.
That's it. You know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I didn't have the internet, and there was like, I think there was one anime magazine in the UK, but it was really hard to come by. I think I saw it in Woolworths once. So basically, all you had to go by is the cover and the blurb on the back.
Yeah.
And when I was first getting into it, I would only go by the age rating.
That's the
If it was a PG, like
boobs and blood.
If it was PG, I'm like, I don't want that. There's gonna be no boobs. There's gonna be no blood. No swearing.
Yeah.
But then there was like stuff like Venus Wars would come out as a PG, and that had swearing and violence, and it's one of my favorite films of all time.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, like it was hit or miss. You could buy something, spend a lot of money, bring it home. It's 25 minutes long, and it's some shit cheap license that Manga bought and then
and just published,
churned out. Like got some crappy dub on it.
See, even if you're a fan of the actual comics itself, you'll rarely kind of dip into the movies unless you're certain that the movie itself is going to be a great adaptation. But then again, like I don't watch too many of the comic books, but I'll watch it if it grabs my attention. Like Kengan Azura on Netflix, like. You know, as you're flicking through Netflix and it just kind of holds on there for a second and it starts playing through the trailer. That's what happened. I was flicking through Netflix. It landed on Kengan Azura for like 2 seconds. I watched a guy get his face punched in and blood go everywhere, and I'm like, I'm watching this. You know, it was Berserk all over again. I was just like, I have to stay up and watch this until. And I did the whole series of Kengan Azura, and I'm just like, spoil of anime. You know, and then Netflix immediately goes, oh, you've watched one anime? Here's the whole universe of it. And I'm like, goodbye.
I think one of my big appeals about Japanese anime is that, you know, Western audiences, we got our Disney, and we got our Pixar, we got our DreamWorks,
and it's the reason.
Is that it? Is there a few more? Is there any more?
No.
That's it. And that's why I can't watch any of them.
And they are all targeted. You know, they're all targeted at kids. They're all kids animated movies. They're all safe movies. You know, not one of those studios is going to produce a gory, violent exploitation animated movie, are they?
Yeah, like,
I would love to see Pixar make a Japanese anime, you know?
It's just
because it'll be Urosekadoji all over again. We're like,
I don't
Woody,
know. Woody,
no! You know?
Bo Peep, get off of that!
That's why I've never been able to get into any of these CG films. It's like, it's just too kiddie. Like, some people say, but there's jokes in it for adults. I was like, there's some tentacle porn in it, isn't it? If it wasn't for adults, stick that in it.
No, but then, like you said, with the Japanese stuff, you don't want to go too far in.
No.
You know, you only really want to tread lightly, because once you go too far in, you start to get to some really weird stuff that just doesn't make any sense.
Weird stuff is refreshing, and I love that alternative is there.
But the story has to work as well.
Yeah,
you know, it has to be
that's
something.
the thing. It's finding the story that you want. And what I like when I go to my animes is I want to know, like, if I'm going to get into a series, that it's concluded and that they didn't get 3/4 of the way through and then went, that's it, but didn't finish it. It's done. That's it. Yeah, I want the whole thing, and then it's something you can binge watch and have the whole story.
Yeah,
so.
Unless it's like a shonen show. Like, I watched all of Naruto.
Right.
Which is
Did it conclude in the end?
Yeah,
it did.
But it's like 400 odd episodes.
It's too much. That's why I'm nervous about Attack on Titan. I'm like, that story's finished though, so like it will conclude.
But you're good with Attack on Titan. That's like your thing. You've done your 3 seasons. So if they turned around and went, right, okay, we're gonna drop something else.
Well, it's not finished yet, so yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. When we do drop something else, you're gonna be like, okay, giant guys biting people's heads off. I'm in for this stuff.
But Naruto was the only one like that. Like, I never got into Dragon Ball.
Sure.
Like, when I did watch it, it was usually whole episode of someone powering up.
Yeah,
I'm like,
usually
fucking hell, get on with it. I mean, the same with Naruto. It had a lot of filler because they were overtaking the manga.
Yeah.
So they would have to stick in like this fight scene that lasts 30 episodes, just like, or a filler episode that has nothing to do with anything and just has no.
You found the same thing with Pokemon as well, and sometimes
we didn't.
where they're like in the middle of a battle and it's like spans over 4 episodes just for filler, just to keep it going, just to. He's like, oh, just get on with it! Explosions,
Sure.
come on!
And that's why I just love the 90s stuff. Like, it's just one and done. You're
Yeah.
in for 45 minutes. Like, I've just got a huge list. What do we have? Like, the Guyver.
Oh, the Guyver! I love the American adaptations.
That is so strange that like, a few people, like, didn't like anime, but had the Guyver and liked the Guyver.
Exactly.
And my friend Damien had the whole series of the Guyver.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about anime, but I loved the Guyver.
Sure.
Well, she had, but like, I've got like Pat Labor. You had like Project
Labor.
Aiko, which was awesome. It was like schoolgirls,
Again.
but it's like one was called Aiko, one was called Biko, one was called Seiko. But it was like a comedy, and it had like references to like Fist of the North Star. There was a girl who was the size of Ken,
Yeah.
looked just like Ken, but had like these tiny little pigtails, and had the like most girliest voice.
I wish could she.
But she could do that. Brilliant. Oh, I love those shows. We had like Shadow Skill. Did you watch Shadow Skill?
No, man.
That was kind of like a martial arts thing. But then when I met my wife, we started watching a lot more series.
Okay.
Because a lot of them, this was like the DVD area. So you would get a full series
Yeah.
for like £20-30.
Sure.
Which was, when a series like The Guyver,
Yeah.
which was, I think, 12 half-an-hour VHS tapes.
Right.
Which would cost you like 150 quid.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
But then you had stuff like Samurai Champloo, which was from the makers of Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Which was like set in sort of samurai area Japan, but with hip-hop influences.
Yeah.
It was really cool. You had like Martian Successor Nadeshiko, Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal
that
Alchemist,
one,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a big one.
And they were huge because you could go into a DVD shop
And actually pick them up.
you
They
could
would
get
be
the
there.
full
Yeah.
series right there. But I met my wife. First thing I showed was Tenchi Muyo.
I
Which
don't know.
I've seen a lot of it through your Facebook page, basically.
Yeah,
It's
it's the first harem series I watched. You got a boy who ends up through circumstances being surrounded by a load of women.
yeah.
all
There's a
obsessed
very
with him.
niche corner where there's you
Of
do
course.
find like one boy. Like I saw one. I think there was one on Netflix where there was this one boy who goes to a school. It's not just all women,
Yeah. Oh, that.
and they've all got massive breasts as well.
Yeah, it's like Love Hina and
of
stuff
course.
like that. But she loved it, and then she would let us call our first daughter Ryoko, which is named after the main space pirate.
From that show. Wow.
Dad, where did I get my name from? Well, there's a space pirate in a Japanese manga.
And then we watch Ranma Half, which is a boy. There's this like special place in I think China where there's like a flat ground but with lots of pools of water. And
Right.
all these pools of water are cursed in different ways. And people keep going there and falling in by accident. Like one turns a boy into a goose. Ranma falls in one, and after every time he gets wet, he turns into a woman. Like a female version of himself.
Okay.
And so this is an ongoing series of a guy who, when he gets wet, turns into a woman.
Yep.
And for Dave, it was Thursday.
So Dave, there's before we bring this segment to a close, there's one of them after Attack on Titan. There's been another popular, I guess, manga that's become an anime, that's become a live action adaptation that's been Americanized, and that's Death Note.
That was on my top of my list.
Is it worth getting into? Where would I begin with Death Note?
Just get the 13 volume manga.
Yeah.
That's the first manga I had to wait for every volume to come out in the
Right.
shop. I was actually knew the dates, and
Yeah.
I'd go in and get it day one. It's phenomenal.
Sure.
It's
Yeah,
the
I've heard
best
really good
thriller.
things. Yeah.
The anime, it's about a boy.
Yeah.
Well, it's about
I know the concept.
death
Yeah.
gods are bored, so they throw these books down to earth, and
Yeah.
if you write someone's name,
They die.
they die.
Yeah.
And they had to make an anime where you have to make someone writing in a book exciting, and it's a bit like like, you know, the action scenes like some like Goku powering up, but it's him like writing in a book or in pencil. The paper's like blowing in the air. It's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But the manga is phenomenal.
Sure.
My top anime of all time though is Giant Robo, The Day the Earth Stood Still. I bought, it was a VHS taping game. Like,
Okay.
it's the second one I bought. It was part 5 and it was £2.99 in game. And I was like, I have £2.99.
Yeah.
I could buy that right now. And it was part 5 and I watched it and it didn't make any sense. The animation style was what I would learn was more sort of the 60s anime, so it didn't look what I was expecting. I hated it.
No giant robots.
And then it was a giant.
It was giant robots.
Yeah, it was a giant robo.
I felt that.
And then I would get part 1 because that was also cheap, and I still didn't like it. But then because I didn't have very many, I would watch it again and again, and I'd get more and more into it.
Yeah.
But basically, it was based on a really old live action series. It would come over to America and be called Johnny Socko.
Right, okay.
And his flying robot.
Okay.
Basically, it was a 60s manga artist by Mitsutaro Yokoyama. And basically, he made sort of the little kid giant robot kind of series. And in the 90s, they had an idea to sort of reinvent it. And they made a 7-part series, and it took so long to animate that each part, like, there was years in between each part. It's all hand animated. It looks gorgeous.
Right.
But it was kind of like the idea for the series was kind of, imagine like a story arc in the middle of The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Like, imagine you had this setup series, you know your characters,
Yeah.
and this is just a story in the middle.
Okay.
Right.
But it didn't exist before. Like, this wasn't
just-
this show. It was just like, it starts an intro. It's like you got the experts of justice, the good guys, and Big Fire, the bad guys, and like it makes it pretend like there's this long running series, but it's not. We're just going to take this epic story in the middle,
And just okay.
and it's so over the top. The characters are all unique and it's kind of based on sort of Chinese myths and stuff, and they set in a modern day with a new power source, and it's just phenomenal. If really, really expensive to get on DVD,
Sure.
like in the hundreds of pounds, because it just
So
Well, is that rare and they're not
it's just
making
rare.
anymore?
I
or-
think the license just sort of got lost.
Such a shame.
Yeah, but it's beautiful, and if you can find it, it's online. It's definitely well worth.
Worth streaming if you can find it
Indeed.
somewhere or download.
That would be my main recommendation.
I just want to say the title one last time.
Giant Robo, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Very good. Well, I just want to say thank you, Dave, for the history lesson of anime and manga. We're going to bring this segment of the podcast to a close. We're going to take a quick break,
Yeah.
but we'll be back momentarily to answer your questions. I think I can do it right this time.
Yeah.
I don't think I spoke so much.
Oh, the audio's on.
The audio's on, is it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, there's one.
Oh, there's one.
And there's the other one.
No.
But where's the third one?
Still in the toilet.
Dave decided he needed tool cigarettes.
After all that, yeah. Yes, just talked for like a whole hour.
He did, yeah. He did very good.
Manga and Anime. You know, he's not going to be on that for like 3 months.
No.
He's going to be like, no,
Yeah.
I can't do no talking.
We're just gonna, we're all just gonna wait for David now.
Yeah. He's going to have a cigarette, and he's going to need a wee.
That's fine. I got my beer now.
I'm driving.
I know. I was gonna say I'd offer you a beer, Ian, but
Yeah, I know, but no, it's good. You know, I had beer on Thursday because I'm still on holiday, so I can't overindulge like some people. You're just gonna wake up tomorrow with a mess on your bed.
yeah.
like that sequence from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Goddamn backcountry.
Goddamn back country. I love boy.
Jay says I noticed an earlier podcast that didn't play.
Did we have one? Did we work out what ground was?
Apparently you say ground instead of the floor. I think that was it. Yeah. Ground floor.
Down. Oh, okay.
First
Cool.
floor.
First floor.
Ground floor.
Ground floor.
First floor.
First one.
Not basement. Fucking give me a username. Jojo Rabbit is really good. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely
I got
loved
20
it.
minutes in and turned it off.
Like that's
Why? Why do
I
people
don't-
do that? Why?
Oh, I thought you
I didn't.
knew.
I didn't turn off Uncut Gems. You got to make it all the way through to the end. You got to go to the end.
Get to
and
Steve
then...
Merchant in it. Steve Merchant was awesome.
Gary, what up with that? I don't know. I don't know what you mean.
What up with that?
I noticed an earlier podcast that didn't play. I don't know what
Oh,
what earlier podcast
which
that didn't play.
podcast
Yeah,
didn't
I'm
play?
confused.
Yeah. I'm not sure on that. YouTube can be a dirty whore, so I don't always get notifications. Yeah, it is a bit of a dirty.
Off the
whore,
shelf
actually.
reviews. A quick question: are you planning on doing any more film commentaries?
Always,
Yeah, always planning.
always planning. Always planning.
Well, actually, I mean, as far as planning goes, it was we'll do more commentaries. I'm sorry, it's not. More
it's what
more concrete than that.
we always say that it's the planning
we
of
want
it and
to.
the organisation for it. It's like Andy was saying about how he was wanting to come around and obviously do more with you for certain films.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh sweet, and then he got busy.
Can you make it like a higher Patreon tier?
For what?
Commentary.
For commentaries. Well, yeah, I could.
It's the recording of it though, and again together. We were going to do.
Oh,
the anime,
YouTube! Stop telling me to use the new version. Your new version sucks.
We were going to do the Chinese cinema, Hong Kong films, weren't we? You're like, hey man, we're going to get together and record this. I'm like, yeah, cool.
We'll get there.
What's that you're looking at?
I was just refreshing the comments section just to see.
Drop Dead Fred is sick. Who does he think he is, Peter Pan and Green? Did you see that comment?
Yeah.
Somebody is dissing Drop Dead Fred. Oh man, you just there are those type of people in the world.
Okay, well, the questions are starting to pour in, and we're just flapping.
Yeah,
We're waiting for you, David.
Yeah, we
Yeah, we wanted to be professional. I keep straight face.
It's like I had half a beer and he's already gone.
Yeah,
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
that easy.
I'm the
I haven't
responsible one.
I haven't eaten since breakfast, Ian. So I'm going to get some food after recording.
Right, fish and chips for coming.
I had a salad. I made a salad.
Ugh.
And I got my salads down to a tea at the moment. I'll keep
crisp.
this hourglass frame sacred. The way you both look.
Like, what?
Something changed.
Okay, come on, let's hit it.
Alrighty then, I'll hit the record. And welcome back to the third part of the podcast where we'll be answering your questions.
Yes.
So we got a question there from Matt Midgley.
Hey, Matt.
My question is, what do you want to see and not want to see in the next Matrix movie? And thanks for everything, guys.
Fist bump.
Triple fist bump. I want to see more kung fu,
Yeah.
more gun fu,
Yeah.
and more Keanu.
See, that's what I liked about Reloaded was
Kung Fu, Keanu.
Yeah, Moru.
That's why I still defend Reloaded, because it had unique, interesting fight scenes and
Reloaded
action
the second
scenes.
one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where she dies, yeah. That was, yeah.
But like the scene in the
The choice,
foyer with the kung fu fighting and the weapons, and then you got the highway scene.
Yeah.
You know, things you hadn't seen before, and it's just so unique and out there.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to see more on that. But
the thing that I mainly really want to see, like all the visuals aside,
Yeah.
is a story that was as good as the first Matrix movie, because the sequel stories
Yes.
kind of sucked.
boy,
Like, other than the robots have found our home, let's defend it. Like, visually awesome, story wise, it's the bare minimum.
But it was the expansion of the first movie.
Yeah.
You know, the secret human settlement that we have to protect
they
from
had
these
really
machines.
good ideas though. We know that with the architect and the and the glitches and the other Neos and versions of the one and
The
all that sort
expansion
of
of
stuff.
the
But
universe
I don't
was-
think they had enough time to flesh out those ideas. They were
Yeah.
just, let's put the ideas in the film, wash over it with
They tried to
kung
spread it out into games, you know, and they
Yeah.
tried to explain it to us through that. But we didn't care. We wanted more Neo running around, and we didn't understand why he was really doing.
but yeah, the
what he
first
was
one
doing.
had
But
such a tight story.
Yes,
you had a
that's it.
beginning, middle, end. You had a great idea there.
The hero's
Yeah.
journey, everything just worked.
You know, it could have ended there, but they were
Yes.
like, we've got to now expand that, and
Yeah.
then we've got to kind of.
Shoot 2 movies back to back.
But now they have, and we have what we have. This next step, like you said, we kind of want to go back to the 90s, but not back to the 90s because it would just look weird. We want explosions and guns and
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
Got to bring back the long
You know,
trench coat
oh.
uh,
I want to
fad
see him-
again.
Remember that one in the second second movie where he's fighting the agents and he's just like kind of one-handed them, and then he realizes he's got actually public defense and he goes, upgrades. I'm like,
Yeah. We got a question from Mongo.
hey, Mongo.
Does your company that you work with ever complain to you about you being on YouTube?
I'm guessing that's
The cinema I
kind of
worked
aimed
at
me.
wasn't too fussed about me being on
Did you know if anyone
On
watched it?
at YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of people did because they would always go, "Hey, it's that guy from YouTube." And I was like, "Go."
YouTube man.
You know, it's weird. I kind of live in this bubble where nobody cares. like I care. Like I care about all you. I think it's all cool. I care about us and what we do and the questions and this whole section and sitting here and the screen. Everything's awesome. But you know, I can't go to anybody in my work and go, I was on YouTube at the weekend doing my podcast. It's just like, we don't care. We honestly get to work, get shit done. You're like, oh, okay.
I work in an office with 200 people, and I don't talk to any of them. So
Very good.
Yeah.
We've got a question from Addy Boggs.
Hey, Addy Bugs.
Gray and Ian, have you
Gray?
guys watched Strangeland
Gray.
or SpongeBob Hemp Pants?
is that a porn parody?
No.
I've never heard of those things. I know who SpongeBob is, but not SpongeBob. Sounds awesome.
Come on, Gray, you must have seen it.
Wikipedia. Where's my Wikipedia?
Jay Hines. Yeah, sorry, Addy, can't answer that one. I'll Google it later.
Safe search off.
Jay Hines says, Gary, any thoughts on the upcoming Candyman reboot? The character Helen from the original will be back. Plus, Tony Todd is supposed to make an appearance. I'm honestly apprehensive about Candyman. Candyman 1, Clive Barker's Candyman 1 is amazing.
Yeah.
I love Virginia Madsen. I love Tony Todd. They're both amazing in that film. The sequels fucking suck. The second one, not so bad. The third one is just like one of the worst direct-to-video sequels out there.
Do we know who's playing?
I don't.
the
I think they
Candyman?
have cast him. I did see the casting news a couple of weeks ago, but I was just like, because I think Jordan Peele's behind the production.
Ooh, from like Get Out and
Yes,
Us.
yeah.
Oh, that could be good.
So
mate.
I'm like,
That
I
Jordan
think
Peele's-
it's in safe hands.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those like, oh, it's one of those quasi reboots. It's not a reboot. It's not a sequel. It's kind of like in the same universe, maybe.
Man, if I
The mythology's the same.
like, I'm just going on a limb here, but I watch some like Key and Peele is fucking awesome on YouTube.
Sure, yeah.
Like
they're
if
quite
I'm
funny,
having a bad day, I just put Key and Peele episode on and I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Get Out. Is it Get Out?
Yeah, that's really good.
Where it's the going into the white bodies, going into the black bodies.
Well, spoiler.
Sorry. And Us, and like I've wikied both of them, and I thought the stories were absolutely brilliant. But I haven't had the chance to watch them because they are A, not on Netflix, or B, people don't buy DVDs anymore because they're old men. But
I stopped buying physical media the moment HD DVD died.
Yeah, but obviously
because I wasted like 500 quid on movies that I can't watch anymore.
But you haven't watched Get Out either. That's what I was saying.
I haven't seen Get Out.
You haven't seen Get Out.
No, I have seen Get Out.
Have you seen
Get
Get
Out?
Out?
I haven't seen it. It's Us. I haven't seen.
Us.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Get Out was fine.
Yeah. So I feel like if he goes maybe like.
I also watched the Twilight Zone
a
series
gritty kind
as well.
of. If he takes it to a gritty kind of 90s approach, with a character who's being hunted by the Candyman, but is it real? Is it not? Is she having a mental breakdown? Just like Virginia Madsen in the original, that would be.
Yeah, I think they can do it right.
Gory as well.
But the music was also great.
Like how gory is Get Out? Like,
I honestly don't remember it being gory at all. Yeah. It's more psychological and.
Us has got a bit of gore.
Us has got some crazy bits. Like I saw the bit on with the kid.
Yeah,
I was like, ooh.
Us is 3/4 a good film. The end is awful. They try and explain. Things and it doesn't make sense at all. Not even in the film zone logic, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
you just left feeling
it just
going.
Ends, doesn't it? And you're like, what?
It just doesn't make sense.
So,
but I mean, it's mostly a good film, and I really like Get Out. So
I've just
so we got a question from Anthony Huduk.
Nice. I was going to show that one.
Do you plan on reviewing Q, the Winged Serpent, Godzilla 1954? Any version of King Kong, the new It movie, and do you plan on playing Doom Eternal? Also, who do you think should win, Godzilla versus Kong? I'm a Kong guy, but I know these guys are Godzilla guys.
But they're going to fight, but then they're going to work together.
They're going to work together and fight something else. It's like these two don't beat each other; they just don't.
See,
it's like Freddy versus Jason; they don't win.
In the original endings of the movies, like Godzilla won in Japan, and he went off and did his thing, and Godzilla went off to America in the American version. That's what they'll basically do.
They need to film like both endings, and so when you go to the theater, you just like Kong, Godzilla. You're like, I'm Kong. You go into this screen, like this is the version where Kong wins. You can imagine coming like, yeah, Kong won.
I'm gonna go see it again. Why?
Go see Godzilla version.
Ending.
yeah.
That is a great idea. They should totally say that. Man, Q with a Winged Serpent. I
love that film.
Seen it, and then this guy lends me a tape. It's just like Q.
You need to watch this. It's amazing.
And I put it in, and the animation's amazing. The story is amazing.
What is it?
It's a Q the Winged Serpent.
It's a
giant... I know Ian's being really sarcastic right now.
No, I'm not.
You hated it. You fucking hated it.
Did you hate it?
I loved it.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
It's a giant creature flying around New York City, picking up people off the roofs and either dropping them from great heights or feeding them to, or taking them away and taking them to
when
his
did
nest.
this come out?
70s, yeah.
I think it was late 70s.
I think it was 74. I think it was actually 74.
David Carradine.
I might be completely wrong.
Pretty sure it's Bill from fucking Kill Bill.
Yeah. Is he the piano player?
I thought he was a detective.
Oh, no, yeah, he is the detective. Yeah, it's been like 10 years since I've seen it.
Yeah, and he's investigating this creature, and like I didn't appreciate it at the time because I'm like, what the f is this shit, But now I'm older.
It's a slow burn.
Now I'm older. I'm like, just like I said, the animation's brilliant for its time because it's so corny. But there's giant, there are giant claws.
It's not animation. It's a great big puppet.
Yeah, and it grabs people. And they're like, oh my god!
There's a great big police shootout in the tower at the end. Where the police go up this tower to get to Q.
It's like original kaiju kind of thing. We do want to do more Godzilla movies, but it's like I would like to do the original.
I've got to say, all
the original,
every question that we get about films to review, I'm like, I had to respond to Patreons this week because they were like, "Hey Gary, I signed up to be a Patreon like however many weeks ago. When's the review coming out?" And I was like, "I'll have a look for you." I'm like, let me just go through the list. We don't record your request for another 17 weeks. So I'm like, I need to send a message back saying, we'll actually do the recording in about 17 weeks, which also means you need to add about 5 to 6 weeks on after that before it actually goes live on the air. And then I'm just like, we just had another Patreon sign up. He's just put the request forward. I'm just like, it's going to get to the point where patrons are going to sign up, and I'm going to be like, yeah, we'll review it next year now, because that's as long as the list is. So it's like when people go, we review it, I'm like, yeah.
Like, we want to record more.
We want to record more, but it's the editing. Like, it'd be fine if we did 20-minute episodes.
Yeah,
you know?
but then again, we would have to record more to make them down to 20 minutes, which would shorten obviously the conversations and get it out quicker. But then it would just be gone and dusted.
Yeah,
you know, gone and
we
dusted.
We spend as much time as is needed on
watching the film. And I always, that's why I'm always fist bumping and shouting out love, and you know, Gary's as well, to all the patrons and subscribers to the show, because obviously we're doing it for you guys. But I don't watch other guys I've reviewed on YouTube. I can't.
Okay.
I just I just can't watch somebody talk about a film quickly in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We're in front of a screen, just like, oh yeah, and then there was this bit, and then the camera, and you know, it's all pre-planned. There doesn't seem to be any real. I don't know if it's just me, or maybe I'm being biased. There's no heart to it. And then when I go and sit and watch a film, you know,
well, it's usually just a guy sat in front of his computer, like talking in a dull voice.
Yeah.
This is what I thought on this
we do that. We sit in front of a camera with
There's a lot of that.
You edit it, you put clips in, and you have banter in between you. It's not just
because it's
not dry.
We're talking about the film. So yeah, you know, when we're taking your requests in, they are going on our top priority list, and the list
the Patreon ones is, and I love the fact that people want us to talk about more movies, other movies. So I'm just like, we can in the podcast format. Yeah. Maybe we can do more commentaries, but the actual film reviews.
Oh, dude, I'd have to quit my job.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to record with you more, and then at the end of each month, go to my wife and say, "Here's the money for all the bills to keep the house over our roof."
So yeah, basically,
can't do that right now.
Can't do that.
So I won't say, we're not saying no to any personal requests, but again, if you do sign up on Patreon, we'll put them on the list. It's a long list now.
Just get your friends to sign up on Patreon and subscribe.
Yeah,
get 1 million subscribers.
Yeah. Just branch out.
I just want to say thank you, boss, for your comment there. Yeah. I'm glad. You know, I've heard that from a few Patrons that send me messages saying it was worth the wait. When I finally see my film review come up, that I'm glad. I'm really glad.
That's where all the hard work is. Every Thursday, we're just like, Thursday's coming. We
just bear in mind, I do suffer from stress, and when I get a message like, "Where's my review?" You know, that stresses, you know, and like the person who asked was really diplomatic about it. He was like, "Look, I don't want to be a dick. Like, I just want to know, like, where the fuck's my film review? I gave you money, you bastard. Give me my review." You know,
man,
and I'm just like, "Oh, it's coming."
That's the communicate with the audience. I'm always saying this to you,
yeah.
And you kind of look at me and you're like, no, I don't want to, and I'm like, well, because they're gonna ask. You got, and then you've got to you talk to the audience, and the audience understands, and
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Like I said, I just need to quit.
Oh, I think we have one of the greatest audiences on the interweb. So you guys are really understanding. You know how we work, and when other people get out of line, you kind of just tell them how it is. And
we're still waiting for Brexit to come along and screw us. So
didn't it?
No, we've got to wait till Christmas.
Johnson got it done.
So. Right, next question.
We got a question from it's just a quick question from TC Hall saying, "Do you guys even bother doing the Facebook questions anymore, or are they now just backup questions in case there are not enough live questions?" So I've got a question from Facebook.
No, right now.
You get all the Facebook ones
from Richard Neve.
Hey, Richard.
What's the one video game to movie adaptation you would love to see, and what adaptation do you most dread? In terms of them fucking it up or just being a terrible game. Also, I promise I'll fulfill my debt to you, Gary, and join you for one of these podcasts someday.
See, that's it. Making content. It's like, yeah, we've got to be on, and then they're working, and
life comes along.
I saw the video game question, and I'm just like, I'd like a Doom one. You know, but because they keep fucking it up, and it's horrible, and the games are so amazing that it's just so easy to have a guy in a suit just running around on Mars killing things, you know, CGI things.
If you were watching that, wouldn't you be like, I'd rather be playing this? Well, I'd rather be shooting that guy.
Hear me out, because my other idea, because obviously my mind wanders when I'm working, you know, is a Sims movie. where it's a bunch of live action actors. You know, I was actually thinking Matt Damon and maybe somebody like I couldn't think of the female, you know, but at least Matt Damon, and he's in this world, yeah, and he's
Isn't that
walking
like
around.
downsizing?
If I was going to say,
Kinda,
is it the Sims movie, but occasionally a cursor just flies past them?
No, well, this is it. They exist in this movie, you know, and you think he's living in this neighborhood, but then you notice the little green crystal thing above his head, and it goes with him everywhere. Yeah, and he starts to. Nobody notices it, but he starts to notice it. So, and he notices stuff's going wrong. Like he walks past his neighbor's
The end
house
of
one
the
day,
film.
and the door is missing. Where did Frank's door go?
I want Sims
That's what I'm
directed by
saying,
David Lynch.
At the end of the film, he'd go into a room and then the door would disappear. And he goes, well, I guess I'm going to die here. The end.
That'd be it, yeah. Like his fence would
Guess it's
start.
time to cook some hot dogs.
His fence would start disappearing, and then the house would start disappearing. The game would start to delete itself.
The steps from my pool seem to have vanished.
Yeah. He's swimming one night, and then all of a sudden the pool's disappeared.
It sounds like escape room. Yeah.
Sims movie. That's what.
See, like the Sonic movie again. It's so
bland.
I want Dead Space. I want
Average.
John Carpenter to do Dead Space.
They did an animated movie.
I
and
want
it was
live
alright.
action. I want live action. No.
yeah. I
Give me
mean,
Dead
that-
Space live action.
Dead Space live action. Same time as we get Doom the movie.
Please don't be like Doom the movie. Please. Have some integrity, Dead Space.
Like we run straight into them every time we see a video game adaptation. I still haven't watched Assassin's Creed yet.
I'm not
I
bothered
haven't.
either.
Yeah, but
It came out round Alien Covenant time, so I was like, "Fuck you, Michael Fassbender. You ain't shit."
Something like Prince of Persia, like that was such a bland
Yeah,
by
yeah.
the numbers film as well.
Yeah.
Just like, meh.
Yeah, not first. Not first.
yeah.
So we got a question from Craig Hoare.
Hey, Craig.
Good luck to Andy for his forthcoming boxing match. An excellent podcast as always. Thank you, Craig. I expect one of you to compile all of Andy's training videos into one big Rocky-style training montage, complete with inspirational, cheesy 80s anthem
We'll just
of his choice.
put that on the list.
Right.
To do this.
So, question.
Doesn't Craig Hall play music? I think you should make a theme. Then we wouldn't get. Then you wouldn't have issues with
Yeah.
copyright.
Yeah.
So get on it.
Get on it. Just send it to him. He'll love it.
So we've had Aliens versus Predator,
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason, etc. But what sci-fi horror hero would you pit against a classic horror monster? Think Ripley could take on a Terminator? How would Ash fare against a Xenomorph hive? Can Riddick kill the Thing? Will a teacup? Who would you like to see in a movie matchup? Stay shelfie, y'all, and fist bumps all round.
Well, maybe that's why Lethal Weapon 5 means so much to him, because he's going to stick xenomorphs in it. Too old for this shit.
Predator, yeah, because Danny Glover, you know, the Predator ship comes down. It's just like, oh my god! And they go drive fast cars, and he grows his hair out long, like he did in Mad Max Beyond Thunder. Riddick versus Mad Max.
A sci-fi
can't
hero
honestly-
versus horror villain.
So I think we've done this before.
Ripley and Terminator.
We flicked it quickly. We put Ripley against Terminator and Sarah Connor. We said Sarah Connor wouldn't survive against the Xenomorphs.
Yeah.
She would get killed, but Ripley would pretty much survive against the Terminators because she can easily adapt and kill them. The Terminators versus... Well, no, I wouldn't say...
I was thinking like RoboCop versus
RoboCop.
the Xenomorph. I'm like, it's not really care. It's like there's no need to do that
The
matchup. It's just-
Xenomorph would destroy Robocop.
yeah, I know.
It's
He's
too
just
slow.
bleed all over him.
He'd rip his arms off.
Well, he could,
Yeah.
he's got his target and things, so he could probably see him in the shadows. And...
yeah,
Yeah, you'd be able to shoot them, but then we're thinking overwhelming numbers of Xenomorphs, right? That's the real nightmare. Like one, he'd be able to kill one.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
So that's pretty good, badass. Mad Max in an alien world, like he's on the planet and he's the hives, hunted by the predators.
yeah, it's I don't know. Matchups are just
There's so many.
it's yeah.
And
It's
then
tricky
there's-
to do the sci-fi versus the horror as well.
and like, there's a
Terrible.
comic of everything. You can
There
think
is,
of.
yeah, especially to be fresh, original, or exciting, or interesting, even. Yeah. We got a question from Amir.
Hey, mate, Amir.
Hey guys, my question for this podcast will be on the upcoming Doom Eternal.
Oh, nice. I'm
What are your expectations for the game? Will this be a game you'll be playing live on your channel? Can this game beat other game titles for gaming awards in 2020? Will the addition of platforming elements make it less of a first-person shooter or Doom-style gaming? I'll leave you to Ian.
I mean, like my expectations for the game are like so massively excitable. Like I have to forget about it. Like it's been all over social media. You know, it's I've had to pretty much avoid just accidentally clicking on somebody because it's just like, oh, I played Doom Eternal for 10 minutes and this is my review of it. I'm like, fuck off. I don't need that. But I did look at their battle mode, which is the 2-on-1 Doomslayers armed to the teeth, and the other players are on a team of demons. So you can have like a Mancubus and a Cacodemon fighting against like a Doomslayer, and he's got to kill them both in the one round to win, and they've got to kill him. I'm staying away from the deathmatch, the online,
sure,
simply because I'm getting it day one. I'm getting the custom built Doom helmet, hopefully, one size fits all kind of thing. And if I do record, like
you're
I did
getting it from
Berserk
Bethesda,
2,
right? You want to make sure you clean out all the molds inside.
my Linda and my family pre-ordered it, and then at the time we heard that obviously it got put back, and I said you need to check that pre-order, so they checked it, and they're like, look, it's still online and it's still coming, and I'm like, that's cool. And after, like I said, after a while I just kind of didn't care. I just wanted the game.
Right.
And I don't even care about the online because the online is not going to work functionally. And there are going to be people on there who are going to be there are going to be people on there playing it all day, and I'm literally going to probably play it for about 30 minutes, maybe an hour before I have to go clean my toilet or go to work, or pick Dylan up, or do
very specific, Ian.
but I have to I have to structure playing the game. So the story mode is going to take precedence first, and then I'm going to give it a couple of months till the online settles down.
Okay, yeah.
And then I'll go online and see what it's like. Because Doom is deathmatch, and 2-on-1, it's going to be, pardon my French, fucking stressful. And I can't handle that stress. People say to me, like, oh, you're always playing these games. Go outside into the real world. That's where the stress is.
Right.
Don't talk to me about stress. I don't want to go onto a game to relax and be screaming at the screen that I fired that rocket launcher and it hit you. It goddamn hit you, and you should have been dead.
Are you going to be live streaming Doom Eternal on the channel?
Would like to do the story all the way through. It's obviously getting the time to do it and hopefully setting up the mornings. But if I
getting told you're playing it wrong, you're not fast enough.
yeah.
Sensing some resentment there.
But with obviously still continuing the streak, I'm gonna be doing that on a side quest and doing Doom story as my main thing. So I might just focus streaming the story and only play Doom when I'm streaming.
Sure, yeah.
Which I might just stretch out, and then people will be like, hey, play battle mode, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It takes you to a dark place, man. I played online a lot, and I don't think it will beat anything this year.
Gaming wise, yeah.
Yeah, because it did so well the first time round.
Sure.
People were expecting a lot this time, and one slip up.
See, I'm worried and nervous about Resident Evil 3 coming so soon after Resident Evil 2. Like, especially when you think about how it was, nearly 15 years between the Resident Evil 1 remake and the Resident Evil 2 remake?
Yeah.
And then it's like not even a year later.
But you look at Resident Evil 3, how that game is structured. And
it borrows a lot of the assets they've already built.
But looking at how they built Resident Evil 2, the remake,
Yeah.
Looking at it now, after playing it all the way through, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3 is very action-orientated base.
Yeah.
So we'll just take the city, the police station and these shops, and we'll stick Joe over Claire, and we'll put fucking Carlos over Leon.
I've finished
more guns and Nemesis and
I've finished the 2 remake like 6 or 7 times. So
Yeah.
I'd just like to play some more.
It's terrifying.
Exactly, yeah.
It's terrifying.
I'm really interested in the fact that Resident Evil 3 has a online multiplayer mode, kind of undead survival mode.
I'm glad they're putting it in with it,
yes,
as opposed to some of these awful ones you had to buy into to realise were fucking awful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of those online games they wanted originally in Resident Evil 2. Like the original release, but it was beyond its time. So, yeah. So we got a question from Sharid Sasha asking all 3 members. I'm not pronouncing her name.
Yeah,
Alan and
Vermelanthium?
Vermelanthium.
All three
Nathan.
members of the Riot Squad,
Oh.
Ruby Riot,
Oh.
Liv Morgan,
Oh.
and Sarah Logan. Fuck, marry, kill, and go.
See, now that's the problem with people when they
I
don't,
don't know who
they
any of them
don't
are.
watch
Is this a
wrestling.
wrestling?
They,
It is wrestling. Okay, so I
these,
don't know,
these
yeah.
three women are part of the Riot Squad that were on WWE.
Well, before you answer, I'll go random then.
Yeah, go on then.
Fuck Ruby,
Ew.
marry Liv,
Oh,
and
nice.
kill Sarah.
See, now...
I'll do the same.
What happened? What did I do?
Right, Ruby
How did I
Riot...
do? How did I score?
Yeah, well, man, if you like head-to-toe tattoos and colourful hair with Ruby Riot, then you did pretty well with...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Liv Morgan, well, Pamela Anderson, blonde hair, very
Oh, okay,
cute.
so-
You know, she had this whole lollipop routine for a while where she
Oh,
just sit
very
there with
sexy.
her tongue out, and kicking her feet. That was
So who did I kill?
Sarah Logan is a very Viking-oriented
Ah.
kind of character. You know, she's very
She
rough
fuck
and ready
you.
with.
You're like, no, right.
And when, like I saw
Ah, I
this
killed
question
the wrong
rolling
one.
down, and immediately I was just like, no, I'll have all three. Honestly, I'm.
So
that
is
much
what the
of a
Riot
fan.
Squad like a team? Or?
Yeah, they were.
Are they a kind of a squad?
They come from NXT into WWE, and they were working as three. Ruby Riot got more of a push than the other two, and they've
Well, she got her name in it.
all
In the
kind of
squad.
rebranded now. It's not really working for them, so they kind of, I think, are going to re-aim for the Riot Squad. But I would. I can't answer. Sorry, I'm not answering that. I'll have all three.
Oh, right.
I'm greedy. I'm just greedy. It's, I know it's not an option, but Gary answered the question for me. But I'll have all. Okay.
Oh. I'll just go with Gary's.
So we got a question from Shelby Ballard.
Hey, Shelby.
Wes Craven is one of the horror movie juggernauts. Of all of his movies, which would you say is your personal favourite?
Ooh,
Personally, I think The People Under the Stairs is my favourite.
nice.
Side note, your review of that movie is what got me interested in your channel, and I've been hooked ever since. Cheers, Shelby.
Oh man, Nightmare.
Nightmare on Elm Street, yeah. Nightmare on Elm Street. Without a doubt. I do like Scream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Scream, I'd say I've probably watched the most.
Yeah.
But
I do like People Under the Stairs. It is a fave.
Nightmare is just.
Freddy is
like
was
the start of the
was
series.
just, yeah.
You
I
know,
love Freddy Krueger.
first time watching it. Well, first time watching Tina fly across that ceiling. You know, and it's where she reaches and pulls his face off, and it's just a skull, and he's like, ah! I'm like, oh my god, Jesus. You know,
Yeah.
Nightmare
So
on
creepy, so scary. Glenn being pulled into the bed.
The mum being pulled through the
Man. I did like when he came back and he did New Nightmare.
Yes.
Like I did actually at the time like New Nightmare because it was different and strange.
I
You
still
know,
like New Nightmare.
Like he like Freddy was real. He was coming into the real
Yeah.
world, but people failed
I
to
find
see that.
it
And I
was
like,
it was interesting that what's she called, Heather Langenkamp.
Yeah.
She auditioned for a Steven Spielberg film. I think it was Goonies,
right.
and they were like, "No, you're too old for the part."
Wow. Yeah.
And so, but she auditioned really well, and Steven Spielberg was like, "Really sorry,
Yeah.
but I'll hire you for something down the line." And I think they gave her, without an audition, the role of Ellie Sattler in Jurassic Park.
Right.
And Heather Langenkamp was like, "No, I'm sorry, I'm going to go and do New Nightmare with Wes Craven because you didn't hire me before." So I was just like, "Oh, like, did you?" Like, I mean, New Nightmare was the end of Heather Langenkamp's career as well, really,
I
wasn't
don't know.
it?
She was great in that Hellraiser movie where she walked down the stairs. for like
The
5
landlady.
seconds. The landlady.
She didn't even have a named character. And I was just like, yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah.
That's
like the
nice.
choices you make, you never
yeah.
know. But I was like, but I'm so glad she kept to it. She was like, no, fuck you, I'm working with Wes Craven, I'm doing a New Nightmare. I'm like,
No, you could have gone
But you could have
back
been
at
a Jurassic
Nightmare.
Park.
This is Steven Spielberg we're talking about.
Right.
You know, he was already established, and he goes, "I'm making this dinosaur movie. Do you want to be in it?" And she's like,
Fuck dinosaurs.
Steven Spielberg. What have
dancing
you
with-
done? I did Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I did Jaws. You know, I've got these Oscars. You know, they kind of weigh me. Has he won Oscars? Yes, hasn't he? You know.
Yeah, I think so.
But New Nightmare's not bad. I like New Nightmare.
it's fine, yeah. It has one of my favourite moments with Freddy Krueger when he's coming out on the chat show. You're all my children now.
You still got your picture, haven't you, Dave? You got your picture
with Robert Englund.
Robert
Yeah,
Englund.
that's cool.
Very good.
He's trying to cut my throat.
As it does. So we've got a question from Dan Bruce.
Hey, Dan Bruce.
If you could have a couple of beers with one movie character, not the actor, who would it be? And for Dan Bruce, his answer was Ash from Army of Darkness.
A couple of beers.
With a
so
movie
many
character.
So many, but like I want to go Ash, but he's already taken that one from me. So.
Yeah.
Michael Myers.
It should be one-sided conversation.
I would say,
I'll have a couple of beers with Pinhead.
I would say like Jay from Jay and Silent Bob.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
after watching the newest film.
Oh man, I love the reboot.
Oh, it was...
It's so much better than Sallow 120 Days of Sodom.
It's
Yes,
not though.
It was like I
it
totally
was
felt so
bollocks.
relatable to all those characters. They were old and I'm old. It's great.
Yeah, but it was just like we're doing the same jokes again, but less funny. We're going to have lots of
that's the
pointless
point.
scenes in it which don't go anywhere and aren't funny.
But we wouldn't have had that if he died. That's what I also got from that movie. If he died, we wouldn't have had a Kevin Smith movie with Ben Affleck in making jokes about the Batman movie that he'd just been in, which was fucking
That's
shit.
the only good scene in the film.
No, there's obviously I haven't seen Yoga Hosers or fucking
Nobody wants to.
you
either.
know, but I saw Kevin Smith's daughter was in this movie and I'm like, okay, let's go with it. And her swearing her head off, I'm like, are you sure Jay didn't fuck your wife at some point maybe when you were making a movie? Because the mouth on that girl is this, but then he has actually speaking points, and I was like, man, I really did get quite emotional with that movie, and I loved it.
I knew
so
you
much
would.
Trek Picard,
Yeah, I knew
you
you
know?
would.
Oh,
No, I thought it was generic and average at best.
Yeah,
I've seen Kevin Smith
It's like
really commit to a project and excel, and in this, it was a passion project.
yeah.
He got to work with everybody he liked to work with.
Yeah.
They had fun. They goofed off. They
Chris Hemsworth turns up as
Yeah,
a
but it was
hologram. I mean,
too long a joke. It just wasn't
No,
funny.
it's-
They were
it's-
mimicking sexual moves. Like,
Yeah.
it just
They were
wasn't
mimicking
funny.
But like I said,
Avengers, 'cause he's
I don't
making
like
fun
Jay
of
and
it.
Silent Bob movies. I like Kevin Smith movies,
yeah.
but not Jay and Silent Bob movies. I just don't
It
like
was just
them.
things with like the tater tots and stuff. That wasn't
Yeah,
funny.
I
don't.
totally did not get that point.
Like
but-
all the vegan jokes are just like, yeah, we
Yeah,
get
but-
it, you're vegan.
Yeah,
Like,
but
Yeah.
I just went with it, dude. You know, same as them trying to eat out Carrie Fisher's pussy in the car.
yeah, but that's funny.
You know, and fucking what's his name, the comedian, talking about sucking dick on the road.
George Carlin.
Yeah, that's it. Like, that's what I was going in
And
for.
it just felt cheap. Like it
You know,
didn't have the budget. Like it just. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, such a bummer.
We've got a question from Anthony Huduk.
hey Anthony.
If you had a choice to choose one of these to fight,
Right.
Freddy Krueger or Pennywise the Clown.
Oh.
Now, are we talking fight as in their universe, or fight as in getting a boxing match and go 12 rounds?
like yeah,
You just have to not be scared of Pennywise, and you'll sort of shrivel up and you can stamp on it.
It's the same with Freddy Krueger. You're just like, I'm not afraid of you.
don't
You have
believe
no
him and
power
he just
over
kinda
me.
Dies, you know. That's why I kind of always thought like I haven't been ever attacked by anything kind of like evil from another dimension because they would come
Because
through
you're
and
not
be
scared of it.
Like, yeah, and I'm like fuck you, and it's like
Go and have a word with H.P. Lovecraft.
I'll go back there. It's like, even giant tentacle monsters. I'm like, really?
Yeah, but okay, in your imagination it's fine, but when it's actually happening to you, then it's...
Again, we're back to the anime. You see what those tentacles can do.
Like I'm not.
Where they can go.
You know, if I'm gonna be,
And if they
destroyed-
can't go, they'll force it.
But that's it. Like with Pennywise, like if I was properly terrified, he'd just eat me, wouldn't he?
Well, he manifests your biggest fear, same as Freddy. That's
What's
what
your
they're
biggest
supposed
fear,
to
yeah?
do.
Sitting in the civic centre,
Losing his streak.
attempting- no, it's sitting in the civic centre, attempting to pay a council tax bill that I've got no money for, and it's a 3-hour wait.
Fair enough. Don't know how that manifests.
Man, have you never sat in the civic centre?
Freddy's just going to keep sending you to the back of the line.
It's been shut for donkey's years.
Yeah, but back in the day when it was open, you had to go there to obviously sort out
sitting
your
the
bills.
fucking off in
Oh,
the
man.
seats for ages,
And
then you go into a
you're
little
holding
booth.
that ticket. It was like the fucking waiting room from Beetlejuice. You know, you're holding that ticket and you're looking at numbers like ding, and you know you can't pay that bill, so you're gonna be paying it with shit and noodles for the next fucking 2 weeks. But you gotta do it because if you don't, you go to prison.
Actually, yeah, we were living in a place, and it's like, no, you don't have to pay council tax. We're going to sort it, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, no, we haven't been paying it, so we had to huge bills to sort out, and payments.
I mean, I'm sorry to take on a dark turn, but you know, Pennywise the Clown's coming at me, and I'm sat there in the waiting room going, "Yeah, just take a seat, mate. We'll be fine." I'll build a base. Like, really? Freddy's over there.
He's making,
Don't you want a balloon?
he's making the number on the thing go backwards.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, no!
Don't do that, man.
Jay Hines asks Gary, any further
Hey, Jay.
development on the Hellraiser remake? It's about time
Are
we
you
got a
behind
faithful remake to that classic. Well, me and Clive, you know, we're still trying to get Brad,
Dwarf.
Dudley,
Douglas.
help Pinhead to come.
Doug Bradley.
Yeah, to
Bradley.
sign a contract, but he's just like Hellraiser. No, I believe the Hellraiser production is still going ahead.
Yeah.
I actually haven't caught up on the news since Christmas, actually, but I know it's still happening, and it's still going theatrical.
Are they still owned by? No, they got took them back by Clive Barker, didn't they?
No, I think Miramax still owns it, or I think the rights might have actually split and gone two ways.
They make serious pictures like the Flying Game and the piano.
Yeah, Hellraiser is Hellraiser.
The piano, sorry.
I wouldn't be surprised if we did get the reboot series carrying on with Gary Tunnicliffe carrying on his Hellraiser adaptations after, what was it, Judgment and...
Get
Are
the
there enough
director.
people following it now and buying?
Get the director from Color Out of Space and put Nicolas Cage in it.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Get Chris Rock to produce it as well.
Get Nicolas Cage to play Pinhead.
Yeah, you just need a comedian to jump on board and change it up.
Matt Midgley asks, your guys' favourite review you have done so far this year? I think my favourite one that we've done this year hasn't been published yet.
We're talking about release, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so behind on where we are, where
Battle
we're released.
Royale.
Like, oh, God.
So this year for me, it's probably Life Force. Probably my favourite review this year.
Yeah, that's funny because you like sticking Ian's face on titties.
That putting Ian's face on titties added another 2 hours to that review.
It's not my fault there's titties in that movie. Same as Witchboard. You know, put Witchboard up. It's the most boring movie ever. And you've got to put my face over some titties because you were talking about her being in Playboy. Which I have scanned and I haven't found it yet. So I have to kind of sit down and watch it all the way through looking for some titties.
It's towards the end, I think.
Yeah. You know, I
think it's like right at the end of the video.
Reflecting Skin was... Have you ever seen that, Dave? Reflecting Skin?
I watched
Viggo
your review.
Mortensen. That was an amazing movie. I mean,
Yeah.
we've recently
I
done...
think that's the most profound film we've seen this year.
Well, I mean, we've recently done a review which, you know, had come out in the 90s and was awesome, but I'd never watched it, and then I watched it and I was like, this is awesome.
Is that the one that's currently given us a YouTube strike?
Oh, yeah. That's
Might
the
be a
one.
while before that one comes back.
You know, but it's like... We could be really, really easy and just go out and watch Parasite and then come back and have a review of Parasite.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
can review that. That's
and-
great.
But, you know, with how we try to emphasize certain sequences in the movie, you know, we do kind of have to wait for the movie to be out in the masses, for everybody to watch it, for us to be able to talk about certain sequences, so we don't kind of spoil it. You know, so... Well, I suppose what I'm trying to say is it's very easy for us to jump on the bandwagon of all the newest movies that everyone's talking about, and that will get us all the numbers, but we kind of want to talk about the old classics like Life Force and Reflecting Skin and Battle Royale, you know, and Curse of the Queer Wolf, you know, and
Those little indie movies that no one ever saw.
yeah, because you know the remakes and rehashes.
Excuse me.
The remakes and rehashes at the moment are kind of just not doing it.
No.
Well, I mean, you've got The Colour Out of Space, so...
The remake.
Yeah, this year hasn't been too bad for movies yet. You know, there's some good ones to look forward to, I believe.
We've got Wonder Woman coming soon.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman 2, yeah.
I'll be interested to see how well that one does, especially after the not so well received Birds of Prey.
It's gonna... I feel it's gonna flop. But it's going to be kind of hidden in the papers because they'll be like, oh, you know, everyone... It's not going to be a blockbuster hit. It's not going to be a blockbuster hit like they kind of... Like DC kind of hope it's be. Joker smashed it.
Yeah.
Greatest DC movie. I know it's like certain category, genre and stuff like that, but Wonder Woman's going to come a close second to Joker.
Yeah.
It'll be good for the series, but
I mean...
Justice League 2?
Birds of Prey.
The Batman with
It's
Robert Pattinson.
Birds of Prey is a really good breakup film.
What? Oh, the relationship between Harley Quinn and Joker.
Yeah, I think it doesn't show Joker, and I think it's a good film if you're on a breakup to watch.
Oh, it's inspiring to like the lifestyle to lead after a relationship
Yeah.
breakup.
Yeah.
But I
Okay,
mean,
cool. I might watch it.
but I mean, internationally, it's done quite well. Like
Okay.
all in all, totted up on the toes. It's
It's
definitely
gonna
made us-
break even, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame, but DC have had such a bad track record. They got no one to blame from themselves, even if they make cracking movies.
It's just so annoying. Like the people who made it know the source material,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
I think Joker did well by word of mouth, though. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to
well,
judge.
the whole
is.
media outcry of like this is a dangerous film, so everybody's like,
Oh, I'm gonna
Well,
go see that
yeah.
then. Yeah, it's controversial.
But how are we feeling about Robert Pattinson, about the Batman? I still haven't seen any of the glimpses of him in a suit.
Oh, there's plenty of still images and stuff out there now.
Yeah, but-
I'm fine. Like he was great in The Lighthouse, so like,
Yes.
I'll see what he does as Batman.
Would like
it's
to
fine.
do that.
Most of the time he's in a fucking rubber suit, so it's like.
I don't know. I don't think I'll ever be happy until they make the Batman movie. I want a proper like dark detective, sort of
Sure, yeah.
long Halloween sort of just dark gritty.
I just don't
doing
know.
detective work.
I think maybe if they're invested in a series of films that then has an installed audience, they can get away with doing one of those films. But until then, they need to do the big epic brawling spectacle of big bosses fights in Gotham.
We
and,
like Batman punching things.
Yeah.
And
him deducting clues is like it's great for the anime.
you can mix
but-
it. Like it worked well with Batman Begins.
Yeah.
He's going around and he's you're checking the stuff with Scarecrow, but then the fight sequences was what made it quite gritty.
And there was some good stuff in The Dark Knight too. When he's
Yeah.
like looking at, he's like scanning the bullet holes in the wall and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's very cool. It's like
He's doing detective work.
It's
Yeah.
cool.
Totally dropped that in Dark Knight Rises, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not there at all. No.
He did detective work. He just didn't show it.
Stephanie Baudreau.
Hey Stephanie,
Do you think you will review Dark Crystal season 1?
didn't we do that like 14
It
podcasts ago?
was in the January or the December podcast. It was my number one thing of last year. So I've talked about it in a few podcasts. I don't think I'll never say never.
I'll watch it at some point and then get behind
it-
it. I know it's on Netflix.
Absolutely cracking. I'd love them to come back and make a
movie
sequel.
is
The labour of
amazing.
love that went into it went beyond any commitment to anything I saw that contributed to any form of media last year. Broke my heart to see how much love they put into it. It was amazing.
Do you know what would be good thinking about it on the conversation of Dark Crystal? A Labyrinth TV show.
Yeah, they could totally do that. I mean, the door's open to Jim Henson, kind of the universes that he created.
But would you want music in it?
I don't want the song and dance numbers
So,
personally,
dark.
but if you're going into Labyrinth, you kind of have to. It's
Yeah.
part of that.
Well, I was just thinking that, but I was
Thing.
thinking if you just took it more dark and like with Dark Crystal, kind of focused on the practical effects of this world.
But
you
I
know,
mean, Dark Crystal, the series kept its tone with the movie.
Yeah.
Like if you did Labyrinth, you have to follow the tone of the movie. Otherwise,
I could say
otherwise you just make something else. Just
dark-
make something
maybe
else.
Teens love darkness. Maybe it's something. Maybe she's got some like real issues. The girl's got some real issues in her life, and then she wishes her brother away, and then over a 12-episode season 1, she has to rescue him from the labyrinth. And you've got this Rami Malek as the Goblin King.
Yeah. David Jones was
Hey, David
searching.
Jones.
Was searching for off-the-shelf reviews of the Beyond 1981. Did YouTube delete the vid?
We've never done the Beyond, and we are
No, never did that one. You must be
Currently-
confusing us with another reviewer.
Yeah, we are.
It's happened a couple of times where people are like, "Hey, where's that video you did?" And I'm like, "We never reviewed that."
Yeah, we always check them because obviously we do get somewhere. It's like, didn't you guys do Jacob's Ladder? Where that's gone? And I'm like, has that gone down? And,
Yeah,
it's
it
been
was
re-edited,
deleted.
and
It was YouTube
definitely
deleted
did that one.
our Jacob's
Yeah.
Ladder video years ago.
But
I actually recently re-uploaded Jacob's Ladder, and within the second it hit 100%, YouTube blocked it worldwide. And because I can only appeal like 1 or 2 videos at a time, making sure the new releases go through the copyright system means Jacob's Ladder's sitting there right now in limbo indefinitely
It's kind of like the film.
until the newer reviews all get past copyright, and because we're constantly making new videos, they're the ones that constantly have to go through the process, which means old videos like that just kind of sit there until me and Ian go through a period of 5 to 6 weeks without a video getting hit for copyright.
Yeah,
which means me and Ian would have to, and I've mentioned to Ian about this, is going, sorry Patreons, all of yours are under like Universal, 20th Century Fox, Disney, all the big studios, so I'm just gonna have to delay all of them by 5 weeks and then insert a bunch of Canon, Empire Pictures, all those defunct dead film companies, and review their films for a few weeks just to get all the old reviews past copyright again, so that we can put the videos back up on the channel.
And then we have to organise and wait for like
This
2 or 3.
This is what it's such a stress working for YouTube lately. Like the last 3 weeks have been some of the most stressful times I've ever had working for YouTube. And the fact that YouTube is busting my balls right now by going, your time is up with the format you've used for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
We've had this beta in effect for 2 years now. It's definitely going to be the only thing you can use this year going forward. We're sorry it's shit. Live with it. And I'm like, it doesn't work, YouTube. The functionality isn't there.
Yeah.
The interface isn't there. It's like taking a PC user and putting them on a Mac and then telling them to recreate,
what they were
Godfather.
working on the
It's just
PC.
like, you just can't do it. I hate it. But I'm done complaining.
Well, it's not, well, you say it's complaining. I call it hard work. It
is work.
It's
It
all
is
the hard
work.
work we do. We wanted to build up this channel, and we have to work it through these particular. We have to work it through this particular corridor in our life, And like we say, we absolutely love everything that we do, and we love you guys, And trying to organise the time. We plan Halloween in January. We plan the summer holidays for Christmas, and we go, right, if we take, like, I come to Gary and I'm like, Gary, this is what we're doing, this is how I'm organising this week, this is what we're doing. And and if he looks at me and goes, yeah, that totally works, I'm like, brilliant. And sometimes, but 90% of the time it's like, no, not doing that, this is what we're doing. And I'm like, okay, but we have to have a plan.
Yeah.
We have to, I have to have a plan if I have to have it organised, especially like with the podcast. I know with you guys, we drop questions, and take the questions from here. And are we going to have any questions in the live section? How many people are going to be watching it? Are they watching it for the questions in the Facebook section and the Twitter section and the
Yeah.
And then YouTube comes along and goes, your film clips are too long. Yes, but we're emphasising how great this movie. You know what? I'm going to rant actually for a second. I'm going to change it up. I watched something fucking completely stupid yesterday, and I just wanted to laugh and cry and smash my phone into the wall just because it made me so fucking angry.
Sure.
Right? Was Donald Trump. Right? Donald Trump was at some goddamn rally in America. Donald Trump was at some goddamn rally in America, and he's like, did anybody see the Oscars? Oh my god. And the Oscars, Parasite won. I mean, I don't understand. Like a South Korean movie. We got like bad trade with them, and why are they winning?
I don't even think President Trump knows the difference between North
Man,
and
there
South
was like-
Korea.
Like, where they go with the wind?
That
That came out last year.
I'm
Film
just
about
like-
slavery.
You're looking at all these people
It's a fucking embarrassment. Isn't
laughing
it?
in front of him, and I was, like I said, I was watching this clip, and I'm like, when this asshole steps down as president of the United States, he could go on stand-up comedy so well. Because literally, he just walks out like I find everything he says so completely irrelevant that my time of jumping into YouTube
dumbs
and
down
editing
you
or
listening to him.
watching a movie,
Yeah.
it just kind of makes me
sorry,
feel
America.
so much better, because there are films out there like Parasite, that we all do kind of have to go out and watch, even though we might not really understand a South Korean movie about a family mixing with another family. Just watch it, because it's there, it's art, it's beautiful. It's like manga and anime in Japan. Fuck Donald Trump. His stupid ass, because that guy is trying to tell you that, we got to keep everything the same. And,
It's the greatest film. It has to be American. The only good thing about Trump is Seth
Sorry,
Meyers.
Randall,
Sure, no, it's fine.
It's like Seth Meyers, Closer Look, and
Yeah.
the late night shows that just rip him apart.
Yeah.
Just take his speeches and just point out the stupidity in his sentences and the way he can't even pronounce words.
Right. I just want to say a quick thank you as well to DMC Campbell,
My
who
boy
says,
Campbell.
"Hey Gaz, Mr. Binmore and Buck, always appreciate your super chats."
Man, I gotta give that man a good shout out. He my boy on fucking Red Dead. You know,
Yeah.
I'll be pumping
He's your
along on the
wingman.
horse, and he just pops in, and we're just like, I'm just like, we doing challenges today, and he just sits on his horse. You know, kind of watching my back. And I remember when he was just a lowly level 4 at one point when he came on.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I was teaching him how to
Blossomed
cards,
and
dude.
grown.
And now I think it was this morning. Like the days kind of mold into one, but this morning there was a pink character in Saint Denis. He's only level 9, causing trouble. I chased him down. The camera was just like, "What the hell was that all about?" I'm like, "It's a different colour." You know, we got a lore in this land. There is a lore established in this land. If you're red, you know, you're dead, man.
Oh, I saw someone there mention Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Is that coming out this year?
I
Suicide Squad 2?
I doubt it. I mean, Suicide Squad 2 is done by James
James
Gunn.
Gunn. He said
Yeah.
it's his
Has he
favourite.
finished it?
I don't know
I've
how
seen
close he is.
leaked photos of set photos.
Yeah.
But he said it's his favourite screenplay, one of his favourite screenplays.
Awesome.
So.
Well, I mean, I can only imagine he's going to Guardians of the Galaxy it up. So
Well, I mean, I was gonna say they just had the Harley Quinn drop, and that failed. Would they want to put Suicide Squad
That's what I worry about.
yeah,
this year, or maybe go back and rewatch it and re-edit it?
But yeah, he sort of said it was one of his favourite
I'll be curious to see
screenplays.
how
and
well this one does.
even mentioned Super in his favourites. So.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I love Super as
I
well.
love Super.
Super Suicide Squad movie?
Yeah.
Shut up, crime.
Fucking give me a username. Any chance of getting Macaulay Culkin on this show?
Oh man, I would love
Talk
that.
to-
I mean,
About
Macaulay
pizza.
Culkin's appeared on almost every other, YouTuber that I like. He's Angry Video Game Nerd. He's been there. Red Letter Media. He's kind of made himself at home there. I don't think he'll leave there actually.
He was on Smodcast once. I listened.
Man,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? Like, I see it pop up a couple of times. If we could, I mean, I know Gary's probably going to look at me with this look like what, but if we could, I'd love to get different guests for the podcast. But not just celebrity actors, but chauffeurs. If we could organize it and be like, right, this episode is about your favorite film, like a live review, like we do on a Thursday, and just make extra stuff. But it's organising all that. So like Macaulay Culkin's out there looking for work, and I'm like, oh man, we could get. I really want to.
Yeah.
Man, I want to do Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he reviewed the game with the nerd.
Actually, I wouldn't do any of the nerd stuff because obviously they covered it like whole. I'd like to do the Good Son.
Nice. Yeah.
With him and Elijah.
We'll do
Wood.
Jacob's Ladder.
He's only,
We'll re-record it.
he's only in it at the end.
Yeah, I know. We're like, what was it like to work with the guy that escaped from Shawshank?
The stairs were the stairs tiring because you literally just.
Or you
walk
can
up
talk to him about his time he spent with Michael Jackson.
Oh man. Fist bump, Luke legs.
Yeah, I like Macaulay Culkin
You've ended
with
your chances of him coming on now, haven't you?
It's Sallow all over again. Jesus, this is the Sallow episode.
I like him with Red Letter Media, although sometimes I feel like he tries just he's putting. Sometimes I feel like he's putting on
Yeah.
the Macaulay Culkin act a little bit too strong. I don't feel he doesn't. Sometimes he doesn't feel natural when he's with them. Whereas I've seen them for years and years and years naturally with him in there. They treat him like any other guest now. Like he's been there so regularly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would be a great guest to have on.
We do songs about pizza.
I'd love to get Margot Robbie on. Man. Margot Robbie. Who else? The Riot Squad.
Sure.
Scarlett Johansson.
That'd be
Tilda
pay-per-view.
Swinton. Man, I'd love to get anybody from The Dead Don't Die because that film was awesome.
I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows TV series.
Yeah.
Yes, great.
I
Isn't
just
it?
watched the episode where it was Taylor Swift.
Yes, it was reprising the role from Only Lovers Left Alive.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
had Danny Trejo
Yes.
from Dust Till
From
Dawn.
just, I know. I was like, I told you all these vampire crossovers.
And
I'm
it had
like,
Wesley
what?
Snipes on Skype.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I'm like,
And he's like, what's he doing here? He's only half vampire.
like all these other vampires. He's the Daywalker. Yeah.
And he can't get Skype to unmute, and he's like lagging behind. And then they're like, well, we invited Tom and Brad, but they couldn't make it.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, it is great. I do really enjoy the series. Like, I didn't think because you see the film and then you see the series and you're just like, But it's got the same writing team, same producing team.
Yeah.
It's like they've done it really well.
It's kind of like
If you want, if you're fine with taking the piss out of vampires, but in a kind of in joke, like we're not really taking the piss, but we're taking the piss way.
Yeah,
What we do in the Shadows
like,
TV series is worth a watch.
when they've transformed the girl into a vampire. She's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
do I need to
Her
get my
first
clothes
time.
off? Like when I turn to a bat, and then it's like, we don't need to go into the details.
No, it just happens. Yeah. I just want to say a thank you to Luke Lags, who also just donated through the super chat. Didn't see the comment, but I think you did. Yes, there we go. I guess my comment didn't go through. No, it didn't. But yeah, just wanted to say I love the channel and your film opinions and your sentiments on Donald Trump are shared over here in the States. Best of luck. Yeah, I know.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah, best of luck to you. Yeah, it's how many more years of service?
oh man,
has he got?
I give up. I've
Well,
got,
it's the new election in December, but
So hopefully
His-
you'll be liberated soon from your.
their opposition is such a mess that they could just be helping him walk in, just like our freaking government.
Man,
Yes,
it's the
yeah.
lizard people. The lizard people control everything. We should totally just rise up and burn everything down to the ground and start it all again from the ashes. But you go right ahead because I'm too lazy to start.
Jay Hines, Gary, are
Hey,
you
Jay.
familiar with the YouTube channel Smack Talk? Very funny and insightful film and TV reviewer through the form of a puppet named Professor Tosspot. Yes, I am. Is Vox's Productions is the name of his YouTube channel, and his most
Professor
recent
Tosspot.
video was on. It was He did Terminator Dark Fate, but he just did another one recently, which I did watch.
He loved the film also, yeah.
See, Professor Tosspot, he's funny, and like I watch because I discovered him, and then he like huge hiatus of not making any videos. I think one of my favorites he did was on like Love Island. You know,
That's
just
what we're
tearing
gonna
it
go
to
up
pieces.
Against. I'm going up against the fucking sock puppet, and I can't like.
Oh, it's a really good puppet.
get like
It's a really good
Johansson
puppet.
on, or Macaulay Culkin.
And he puts on the like the, you know, it's like a 70-year-old puppet, and he puts on the voice and everything.
Right.
The crazy thing is about the guy who does this channel is like I've watched him go on EFAP.
Right. What, sorry, my mind went right to the gutter about
yeah.
Okay, EFAP is Mauler's show,
Right.
and it's every frame a pause,
Oh, okay.
where they dissect and break down shitty YouTube video film reviewers. Yes, I know. Like every time I go into EFAP, I'm just like, please don't be us.
No, we are going to
Please
be.
don't be us.
I'd love to be on there. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy their content, and
Yeah.
he goes on there sometimes, and he puts the voice on for hours at a time, and I'm like, stop being fucking Professor Teapot and just be you. I'm like, but he doesn't. Like, he is fully committed to this role, and so I'm like, you know what?
I'm
Good
kinda
on
like
you.
that.
I'd lose my voice doing that.
I'm kind of committed to this, so I have to kind of maintain this.
But yeah, I do like Smack Talk. I just wish, you know, he puts out one. I mean, this year he's put
Yeah.
out 2 videos. And I'm just
Man,
like,
he's probably going through the same shit that we are.
oh yeah,
You know?
absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
You know, he's trying to explain to people, what are you doing tonight? Well, I was going to record a video about me holding a sock puppet and making a weird voice, but, you know, I got to go to work.
Well, he's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
Maybe he's a drug addict for them.
Yeah.
Dark.
That guy. In the Resident Evil 3 remake, they should just give Nemesis Donald Trump one-liners. Oh god. You just imagine being chased by... No!
Donald Trump.
I want,
It
I
probably-
want the Donald Trump Nemesis mod.
But that would sell the game.
Yeah, pretty much,
That would
yeah.
sell the game. Everyone would play it. I'm surprised. Like he's got like I was almost tempted. You know, somebody's put like a $75 million bounty on his head. I was almost tempted to put a bullet between his eyes. It's like so much effort. Like I'd have to buy a plane ticket, get my bag sorted, go on a plane.
I'm sure someone would do it. I mean,
no, because it
some of
turned
the-
him into a martyr.
no, I'm talking about the mods.
Oh,
It's the
right.
Resident Evil 2 mods. Some of them, like Thomas the Tank Engine, is.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah, that was
Stuff like
one
that.
of my favourite mods
It's just
of
The
last
SpongeBob
year.
SquarePants, you know, there's God,
It's just like the most non-scary thing you can ever imagine coming after you.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it any less scary, though, does it? Because you know it's going to kill you.
I saw all the mods before I started playing the game, and I was like, that's kind of ruined it now. Nemesis isn't, Mr. X isn't going to be scary anymore. And then when you're in the game,
Yeah.
and like
And
I
then
knew
you open the
the
door, he
music,
smacks you in the head.
some of the videos I was doing, like I pause and I'm like, oh yeah, like in my mind I'm like, yeah, he's a couple of steps away from me. I'm fine. Pause, check the map. Right, I've got to go forward and right and through that door and then there and there. And then I've unpaused and I swear there's a point in the lobby where his hand goes right past my head and I just move like run.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, Jay Hines, you're right. It was Captain Marvel was Smack Talk's latest review. And you know,
I like Captain Marvel.
It's not as good as Terminator.
I don't like
Dark
Captain
Fate.
Marvel. I don't mind the character. I just really like Brie Larson. So it's like, yeah, I know the film's not great, but I like Brie Larson. she's hot.
But I was already on the high from Black Panther as well. You know, I was just like, superheroes, give me more. I'm ready for Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, and the sequence where she beats up all the guys just for her boots.
Yeah.
Jude Law was good.
Yeah, although I see Jude Law and I'm like, villain. Like,
Yeah, he's villain.
bad guy. He's the bad guy.
Always the bad guy. Always the bad guy. Yeah.
I just kind of remember the cat from that film. That's about it.
The CGI cat being affected by the G-force.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally forgettable for me.
I like Samuel L. Jackson. For me, it was the whole buddy cop thing that I quite liked.
Yeah.
The interplay between the two of them was good.
And by the end of it, he was Nick Fury. You know,
Yes, you watched him go from the bumbling kind of
The
amateur cop to the...
I've got to take charge of this because there's aliens coming from outer space and nobody realizes this.
I wished it was a better film, but they really didn't have much time to get it made in the time frame they had before Infinity War.
Man, that bit when she
or
comes
Endgame, sorry.
smashing through Thanos' shield. You're like, oh, Thanos! Like I saw Captain Marvel, you might get hit hard.
Well, he gave her as good as he got. So.
He did.
Yeah. I still remember the collective cheer in the cinema when Thanos smacked her out of the frame. And everyone was holding their breath, weren't they? They were just like, please don't let Captain Marvel be the one to kill Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to watch that again.
Which one? All of them?
Both of them.
Right.
I almost said that to Linda because she's
Let's go right back to the beginning.
Well, she's
with
going through
Iron Man,
series,
Captain
and,
America.
and I'm just like, what series? Because she's just done the Star Wars one and Harry Potter, and I'm like, look, should we do Mad Max?
Mad
Max? Mad Max, and she's like,
Mad Mardigan.
really? Mad Max? That's not a series to go through. I'm like, well, what about the Saw series? She's like, really? The Saw series?
Again?
And I'm like, Avengers, but I kind of just want to jump to Infinity War.
The end. Yeah.
The end,
The last two movies to date.
Yeah. That's what I do. Next question, any more? Or is it with all the questions?
We've exhausted the Facebook questions.
I am just reading
We've
the comments
exhausted the time limit, but I reckon we can probably squeeze in another 10 more minutes.
Wow.
If we can get some more questions in the chat.
I saw someone earlier write about what do you think about Quentin Tarantino changing history? Are you a fan or not?
I'm totally fine with that. I know certain films like U571 when that comes out and it's just like, yeah, let's just completely change history. I'm like, you're making a war movie in the style of, a war movie. Get it fucking right.
Yeah.
When Tarantino comes along, I'm like, this is a Tarantino movie. Don't matter what genre it is. It's a Tarantino. It's a Tarantino war movie. It's a Tarantino romantic comedy.
It's a
Tarantino movie. So I'm like, it's his universe. It's I don't mind him changing events and it existing in his own thing because I don't watch a Tarantino movie and go, this is historically accurate.
Yeah.
It's.
I felt that with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I haven't properly watched it yet. Read the story as soon as it came out and read the ending, but I'm not going to spoil it. But I was like, he's Inglourious Bastard it.
Yeah.
The one great thing is the Manson family in the car, and then I can't remember Leonardo DiCaprio's character's name. He comes out, fuck off! Making that noise, get off my property! And then they sort of nervously drive down. And it's like, was that the actor? Like, oh man, I love him in
that guy. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
that guy, are you going to live stream Resident Evil 3 Remake? The answer is yes.
A year later,
Are you?
Ian and
Because you're getting it through Steam, aren't you?
It's already purchased on Steam. I'm literally waiting for the day where Steam goes, you can download it now.
I reckon I would like to say this next. So I'll have to buy it and get it for the Xbox if I'm going to do it for the Xbox. But if you
we are, I believe, I'm not sure how the dates are going to line up, but this is my plan because we have our 12-hour stream.
Yes.
Coming up over the next couple of months during the Easter break.
Easter break, yes.
Which is what? When is it? Is it April?
I think it is the second week in April.
Yeah.
I know I'm on holiday from work that week, so family stuff. But the weekend, I've spoken to the wife, and I'm like, please, just give me this day, because obviously you've got to do the 12-hour video. And she's like, oh, okay, because it's like every year now, you know. And Resident Evil 3, I think, comes out like maybe a couple of weeks before.
I think it does.
You know, and so like I know that you'll be playing a day of release.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that we'll play it for the 12-hour stream.
I'm thinking.
But you'll know.
I'm thinking. I may on the day of Resident Evil 3's release stream that whole day. That day I'm going to start playing the game from start to finish that day.
You're going to die a lot,
the
dude.
camera.
I literally, when Resident Evil 2 Remake came out, it was 6 hours before I died the first time.
Really?
So I didn't do too bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I got all the way to the plant things before I first died.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. Resident Evil 3, I may stream it on the day of release and just stream the whole day on the channel until the game's over, because I can't wait. I really can't wait.
But then if you're going to...
But then during the 12-hour stream, I was like, well, I was going to let Ian play it through. So
You've got...
But we may find another game for the 12-hour stream.
Yeah, we've got loads of games. Because I haven't done any of the achievements for Resident Evil 2 because I was like, I did my time. I'm like, I'm done. That was terrifying, you know. But you said there was the achievements for getting all the way through without using a box, storage box, and without using any health.
Yeah, using any first aid sprays and stuff. Yeah.
Stream now, because that will people eat up.
Yeah, I was thinking I might do on the 12-hour stream. We might do Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 3, you know, the original as well. What? So we'll, do a playthrough of the new one, then do a playthrough of the original one.
Shame we can stream both of them at the same time and see who can complete Resident Evil 3 first.
It's a rough month for games. Like, I've got Persona 5 Royale coming next month. Then it's Final Fantasy 7, Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 is dropping soon as well. The remake.
Oh yeah,
they take up so much time.
Yeah. Well, it's good to carry on through the year.
Well, that's it. Doom, Resident Evil 3, Final Fantasy 7, and I'm just like, I'm just doing my challenges on Red Dead. You know, I'm good. But we've got all these games to play, and I'm like, I'm gonna get to them.
Gary, could you hold some sort of competition where a viewer gets to meet you guys and sit in a podcast or movie review?
Get on that, man.
I can't pay your travel or your expenses, you know. I'm like, if you win and you're like, hey, I'm in South Africa, I'm like, oh,
welcome to
yeah, it'd be great. It'd be awkward. It might be weird. It might be strange. I don't know how that would work.
I did say, but in the past, that what would have been funny is getting people to go through a laptop through Skype, and then just having the laptop sit in where like Dave is, you know, and just hold it up and But you know, it's the organising and the competitions.
Yeah. It's like I listen to some podcasts that
fuck you, give me
are all over Skype, and it never sounds good.
No.
Yeah, fuck you, give me a username. If you go back 3.5 hours, you will find out if Gary and Dave watched Sonic and what they thought. Because I just watched that one down there.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just really reading through the questions as well. So the whole chat happens, and I'm chatting with these guys, and I'm just like, what's going on? It's like, all the different
and then
stuff.
the chat's gone.
And then the chat's gone, and I've got to go back to my normal life, and everybody just waits for the next.
There's always
Thursday,
a great sense of melancholy when the stream
Mm.
ends. It's like all the chat's gone, you guys go. And I'm just like,
I have a question.
there was 50 people here a minute ago.
Do flat earthers think other planets are flat?
What?
They probably don't think there are other planets, to be honest.
Flat Earthers. Like
Right.
I haven't really properly looked into it, but it's been bugging me for a couple of weeks. Like, you know, there's a whole established order of people
I
who
really
believe-
haven't spent too much time trying to put myself in the mind of a flat earther.
but you know
the
that
concept of it frightens
But
me.
yeah, exactly. We know that they're out there, and we know that they're thinking that this is the way of life. And you know me, I am insane, and that's a level of insanity I can't understand, because I'm like, what do they think about Saturn? You know, like, do they think the rings match up with the planet like that? It's like flat. You know, is the sun flat? You know, is the moon flat? Like. Answers in the chat, you know. You chat among yourselves about flat earthers.
They should all be taken to the other side of the earth.
Well, they can't because of the isn't it the
I don't know.
Antarctica? Isn't that the excuse they use? They can't get past it as well.
Do they live on the underside of the flatness? What?
Yeah.
They all voted Brexit as well.
Yeah, they did.
Planets are cubes. That's why we have Cuba. Do you guys have a live stream schedule, Luke Lags? Yes, once a month we do the podcasts, and if the world hasn't exploded and everything is organised into a way, I sometimes live stream games. I'm not very good at them. I'm better than Dave. You know what I mean?
Sonic Pro.
Man, when you died on the 3rd level on Sonic, and I heard and it just like bang, I was like yes. Because
It's so mean.
half of me kind of expected you to fly through and you know not hit anything, and because you played Sonic a lot, and then you died, and I was like, he's just like me, because I died.
He's
I
just a normal gamer like everybody else. He's not special.
Yeah, man. Nobody's special. Rank means nothing. Prestige means all. You know, you just play until your thumbs can't play anymore, and then you move on to PC.
Yeah.
So you can do your wrists in.
But in terms of other live streams and live chats, it's usually the second to last weekend of the month.
Yes.
So that usually gives me a week or two to actually
weeks.
edit the audio one to go to Podbean, which goes to, you know, iTunes and all the other Spotify places.
Yeah.
Which I've heard recently. They still need to resolve this issue, is that our podcasts are not appearing on some podcast hosting sites. So I just need to track down and figure out what's happening there.
Yeah,
make sure they do.
I've seen them on Podbean. All of them are all of the podcasts.
All of them are on
get
Podbean. That's our actual hosting site.
But on the Spotify one, the film reviews go up every week.
Yeah.
You know, as an audio form, which is awesome. But the podcasts don't.
Yeah, which is the
So,
main
yeah.
reason why we're on Podbean. So it's
Yeah,
just.
so the podcast.
I've got Downcast.
But
I always get the film ones.
But the podcasts are on there up to like 21,
yeah.
and then it's like, and then it just stops.
And then they
It's
just
like,
stop. Yeah, so I
okay,
need to figure out what's happening there and
Yeah.
fix that for some of you guys who have let me know that it's.
Jay Lang's thoughts on the new Sonic movie. Once again, 3.5 hours. If you want to go back, just listen to it all again.
No. So Ian, thoughts on the Sonic Wiki?
Yeah, that's TC Hall. What's up, TC Hall? Sonic Wiki. I like the end at the end. There was 2 little snippets at the end. That was quite sweet. You know? Jim Carrey, you know. That was what I meant to ask you earlier. Have you seen Hop with James Marsden and the little bunny rabbit that comes in from another universe?
Isn't that Russell Brand?
Yeah. Have you seen it? See, the same thing with Sonic. I just wanted to know if they'd literally just taken Hop and taken out the bunny rabbit and stuck in a fucking hedgehog with Jim Carrey.
There's no Russell Brand in Sonic.
Oh man.
Well, on that note, I'm going to bring this podcast to a close. I just want to thank you, Ian. Thank you, David.
Well,
Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for your donations, for your comments, for your viewership. It means a lot to us.
Yes.
And with that, we're going to sign off. And you can find our new film reviews on Thursdays, our gaming videos on Fridays. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Patreon. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.
Hold the gang signs. Freeze.